All right, guys. It's the long-awaited Mudahar Keffals video. We win for months, years even. Some people have been waiting for years. Not me, though, because it's only been months. Yeah, man, I've been looking forward to this. It came out today, random day, you know, pretty good. Let's get this going. Before we start, though, I'd seen somebody had sent me on Twitter, Keffals getting a little upset. So let's take a look at this. So we're going to quickly look at the announcement Mudahar gave us. Uploaded a new video regarding a serious fraud of an activist known as Keffals. Over an hour of deconstructing her various lies and examining her terrible lies will prove to you why she is a danger to people they represent and those surrounding them. Okay. Now, what I found a little weird, because I read this, is she claims he misgenders her. Which I don't understand. I understand people have criticism of me. I don't think I'm above being critiqued. That said, was it really necessary to use a transphobic caricature of me in the thumbnail while also not using my correct pronouns in the video announcement? I don't understand. So first of all, I don't know if this is transphobic or not. Maybe. I think it's more of just disrespectful to Keffals and what they look like. That's kind of the point of these types of thumbnails. But I don't... Transphobia? I don't really know. I feel like... You know that this is almost it's almost a perfect start to the video. Everything is a trans shield. They're using like their transness as a shield. But this is just looks like a you know, we see these all the time when they did it to what's his face, Toastify, I think, right? He did that to Tipster, right? This is the same art style, I think. That's not transphobic. It's just an art style that's meant to make you look bad. But either way, Mudahar calls her twice and then says they and them. I guess because why? You know, in the English class, you learn not to use the same word over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? It's like redundant. It gets a little sussy. Then Keffals, she goes on to say, I think my actions themselves are heinous. Oh. I think if my actions themselves are heinous, you wouldn't need to dehumanize me to an audience of millions of people in order to make the points you wanted to make. The bar for this was incredibly low, and Mudahar managed to still fumble it. I don't know what that means. If you stink, then you stink. Anyways, I am probably going to get harassed by thousands of people for standing up for myself now, so I'm going to go do something fun instead of that. See you when it dies down. Okay, whatever. And then they posted... This? Or is this a separate post? Oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't know if that was relevant. Anyway, let's just get the video going. I'm just confused now. Okay. Ooh, mature elements. Wow. We're about to get groomed. All right, let's see what we got in store for us.
Anyone ever finds out about how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled. Hello.
Is that like a joke? Why would they say that?
Never find out about how I spent.
There's probably a little more context. I keep trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just many little things. The replacement of furniture, helping my friends out, and buying new stream gear. Anyway, sorry for venting. I'm going to go now. I'm still heading to Dingle. Wow.
The GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled. Hello, guys.
Thank you for the $5 from Spoops. She's a stinky lady, for real. True.
Guys and gals, me Mudahar, and today's video is one that required quite a fair bit of research, and it's one that I should have released a few weeks ago.
And a haircut, apparently. Nice, I like it. Looks nice.
It's a video that might be one of my most controversial videos, but one that required looking back years of...
It will be a controversial video. In what context? Because I feel like who's going to be like, oh, this is crazy, you know what I mean? Or I mean, we might all think it's crazy. But I don't know. I guess when I hear controversial, I feel like, oh, they might get controversy onto them, but I feel like who really is left to defend this stinky little goose Keffal, you know? Probably nobody.
Upon years of internet history to come to an actual conclusion of one of the most dangerous people on the web, an international...
He come to a trans person. There's no way he could be transphobic, guys.
Transgender activist that some of you all may know as Keffals. Ooh. Now, Keffals is not necessarily a popular activist. They're an online transgender activist known for fighting against the controversial website Kiwi Farms. Her campaign...
We learned in the what is it called? The Willard Macklemore video that she wasn't even really afraid of Kiwi Farms, apparently. It was another site that has not been announced yet. I'm not really interested in knowing, by the way. that Keffals was actually more afraid of, and just kind of redirected at Kiwi Farms to seemingly come off as like a morally virtuous person for going after them.
Campaign saw mainstream attention after a highly publicized swatting, where she alleged mistreatment by the Canadian Police Services. The online harassment escalated until she was forced to flee her home country to escape. With the media and an entire community backing her, she raised over $100,000 on GoFundMe to recoup her losses and pursue legal action against law enforcement. This is
yes, of course, law enforcement
story the public,
because guys, law enforcement bad. You guys can clap for me now. Woo! This is liberal 101. Law enforcement bad. Wait for applause and cheers. Soak it in. Incredible stuff.
Occurred all the way up in 2022. Turns out her entire career and almost everything she said is a lie. Join me as I take you down a journey that involves SWAT teams.
Are you saying she's not really a trans person too? Is that a lie? Could you imagine that she was actually cisgender and she lied about all of it? That would be crazy. Thank you so much for the $2 from Blue Draconoid. Hey, yo, Pops. Thanks for always being a goated creator. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I love you so much.
Do-it-yourself hormones, cat boys, and a scam many have tried to expose, yet for some reason almost no one is talking about.
I wish you would tell us how to make do-it-yourself insulin, because you know what I mean? I feel like some people, not me, could benefit from that,
Before we get into the real meat and potatoes, I should probably
do-it-yourself Farsiga.
Explain a bit more about who Keffals is. Her name is Clara Sorrenti.
Your name?
She first rose to prominence in a community of another left-wing political streamer named Vosh.
Ah, the first red flag, the horse whisperer, Vaush. The last horse whisperer I saw was a young blonde girl with an interesting-looking face, and she used to do competitive riding at my school. Her parents were rich. My money, not so much in looks.
Garnering a following by posting memes on Twitter. With this notoriety, she began streaming video games on Twitch in March of...
I know I keep being annoying, but you know what I find interesting, though? Is it seems like so many people have gotten a career to some extent by utilizing Twitter in a very toxic, like a meme way. Like, I feel like Vosh is similar, Keffals, maybe even Tipster. And now you're seeing, like, the great Twitter implosion, where we realize that being an obnoxious asshole on Twitter actually doesn't make people like you. You know what I mean? So
2020. Her focus shifted to politics later that year after a wave of anti-trans legislation swept through the United States. She went on to raise $200,000 for a campaign for Southern equality to protect trans youth.
Southern equality?
By the end of the year, her Twitter surpassed 10,000 followers, and while most were on board with the activist, others grew very critical of how she used her platform. Clara...
Some of them were probably, like, legitimately transphobic. Like, oh, this... Because it sounds like so, like, her beginning wasn't so bad. It probably is like almost that shell shock. She probably was always not a particularly good person, but then once you get popular, people start watching and go like, wait, this is weird. Which we've all been there for. It's a little bit of a system shock. None of us act perfectly. So as the fame comes on, you start to go like, maybe I should be a little more intelligent about the way that I act on the internet. It's almost a growing pain. But, yeah, I imagine that some of it is transphobic, and she's just decided to call it all transphobic at a certain point.
Regularly directed her chat to brigade targets by ratioing them. Ratioing, for anybody who's not terminally online, is when you try to get more likes to the original post in a quote tweet or a reply. This amounted to coordinating with her chat on stream, and even if you blocked her, she would just use alternate accounts to achieve this goal. It was through this that she got into her first real internet beef in early 2022. On March...
Oh, Destiny Begins. Damn.
22nd, 2022.
Is that a girl's name?
Clara had a spat with online notorious agitator Ian Miles Chong. Their back and forth continued for hours as she commanded her viewers to...
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that guy. He's kind of a dick. I don't know. I don't know a lot about him, but he seems like kind of a scumbag.
Ratio him. Then at around 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, her chat was brigaded with hateful messages. Ooh. Despite the timing, one of her mods would end up blaming someone else, another streamer named Destiny. Destiny is a kind of progenitor of the entire online leftist streaming space. His stream...
No, that's Hassan, dude. What are you talking about? This guy doesn't even know his history, dude. Hassan did that. Hassan literally created politics. Politics didn't even exist before this guy. So you spent all this time researching and you couldn't even find that out, dude?
Stream is where both Vosh and Hassan Piker got their start.
What? No way, dude. Hassan created that.
These people used to be friends, and nowadays...
What the heck?
...is not so much. And that is reflected in their communities. The only evidence implicating Destiny was a quote tweet where he called her Cringe.
Oh, got her.
Ooh, the shock. It was posted 2 hours after the rape. Despite this, Clara and her community insisted it was his fault. Once again, there was no evidence he had any involvement, yet she used it as justification to deplatform him. Her first response was to try to get his Twitter mass reported and banned. She said,
ooh, based.
sites on his Twitch channel, launching what can only be described as a full-fledged character assassination. There are countless examples of her.
So is this why it's speculated that Destiny lost his Twitch partnership or got banned off of Twitch?
Legitimate slander and flat-out lies about Destiny. He detailed the worst of her behavior in an extensive document he published back in 2022.
Damn, that's crazy, but only nerds read, so I'm not even gonna bother.
And I'm only going to touch on a few examples because this video is going to be as long as it is. The first thing to point out is she was successful in depriving him of one of his main sources of income. She painted Destiny as transphobic for not supporting trans women competing in sports with cis women. Even if you...
Hey, listen. I agree with that. Only because there's, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this sport before. I've seen this before. It's women wrestling. And the objective is, like, while they're wrestling, they remove articles of each other's clothing. And it's like, why can't trans women compete in that? Seems kind of transphobic to me. You know what I'm saying? And you might be like, oh, well, the trans woman's going to overpower the cis woman. That's the point. That's the point in this sport. If you've never seen it, don't look it up. I'm just kidding.
disagree with this.
I do. Okay.
That doesn't necessarily make Destiny transphobic. It's a fringe pressure point of a much larger, broader issue.
And let's be real. Trans people are not really worried about sports right now. There's a lot of other things trans people have to worry about before we talk about sports. I personally believe that there's a biological advantage for trans women that go through, a male puberty. I love trans people. They're great, But yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with Destiny's point there. Respectfully, of course.
It's a highly specific, contentious issue and an unfair characterization of his broader catalog. Regardless, her labeling garnered enough support to get Destiny banned off of Twitch within 24 hours for hate speech. Damn. She immediately took credit, gloating about taking away his primary source of income. Hey, Steve, I just took away your primary source of income. Please leave me alone and stop bullying trans people for content.
It's so interesting because, like, you can see different people who will go through different levels of stressors on the internet and the way that they react to it, and then the way that they either overcome it or get destroyed by it. And like, whether you like Destiny or not, like, I feel like Destiny is probably the biggest example of somebody who overcame a lot of people going after him. I'm sure some justifiably, but in this case, unjustifiably. And now I think he's more popular than probably anybody in the space. I think so, even more so than Hassan. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but at the very least, he's caught up and he's exploded quite vigorously. But then you'll see other people who get like negative attention, and they just their channel loses subscribers. They go down to 106,000 followers. They stop making content. They get 1,000 views. They delete their channel because they act like an asshole. They just kind of fall off, and they don't try to recuperate and try to come up with like a content strategy. They don't try to overcome this adversity, And I'm not going to jerk myself off, but I'm slowly getting to I'm in a good spot. I'm actually, surprisingly, the best spot that I've been since I started making content. I know that sounds incredible. You know what I mean? Certainly nowhere near the explosion Destiny's had, but you could just kind of tell the difference between people who are trying to be successful and receive feedback and try to parse through that feedback and try to overcome and be better content creators versus some people who just don't,
He picked a fight with me. He got banned. I won. This behavior was not only encouraged, but rewarded with 30,000 new followers that week.
Jesus.
An important thing to remember is that if you're...
Do you think that the Destiny hate is sexist? Because he's a very feminine looking man. I bet if he was a masculine man, then people wouldn't be so mean to him. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Banned off Twitch, you cannot appear on the site at all. For the longest time, you couldn't even show his face on screen without getting in trouble. Now that he couldn't defend himself, she spread even more blatant...
I'm gonna be real. Since I started doing Twitch, I stopped it now. Now I'm on YouTube. I've always watched Destiny's content when he was banned, and they never got me. So, but whatever.
Falsehoods. The same day, she baselessly accused Destiny of stealthing, which is secretly removing a condom during sex without the partner's consent. This is generally considered a form of you-know-what, which Clara brings up in her accusation.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. You shouldn't be doing that, guys. I think it's shitty. It definitely makes your partner uncomfortable. I wouldn't say it's like, on a spectrum of bad behavior sexually. I would say it's not the worst, but it's definitely not good. It's definitely wrong.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of...
But then I also pretty sure that was like a baseless accusation, no? Oh yeah, and then she's like, oh wait, actually, never mind. I think she was just reading her chat. And she decided to say that out loud like a fucking genius.
Insane shit.
To this day, there has never been any evidence or even an allegation made towards Destiny about this.
I don't know, man. He did take it off when we were doing it together, but I was okay with it because it felt better.
She walked it back shortly after, which shows just how callous she is towards claims of such a serious nature. But because he was deplatformed, she was able to further a false narrative to her chat as well as tens of thousands of people on Twitter. They all either assumed she was being honest or didn't care she was slandering him because they had already disliked Destiny. In retrospect, her behavior paints a clear picture of how she would conduct herself in the future. It wasn't long into this drama that Keffals got noticed by the site Kiwi Farms, who started a thread about her on March 26, 2022.
I bet Destiny paid them to do that. You know what I mean?
Quickly tried to guilt Destiny by association, claiming he used the forum and was even friends with the owner. And what was the reason?
Didn't the guys like hate him or something? I actually know weirdly too much about this lore. Doesn't the guy like not particularly care for Destiny, the owner of that site?
Well, because apparently he has an account is because he was a target on the site since 2017 with his own board. All his posts are arguing with trolls in his own thread. He was also never friends with Null, who is the owner of Kiwi Farms. He has also gone on record to wish him death several times.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh like that. It's not right. It's just so funny because I feel like I've never seen Destiny ever be like normal. It's always like, I want you to either I like this person or they want you to die. So it's just kind of funny.
No, by the way, wishing death on Destiny.
And this is while he's out,
alert?
I guess. It's just like,
wow. Is this real? Holy shit.
He's super gross. And sometimes he says things which are funny or agreeable. And it's like, I wish I could like you, bro, but you're creepy and gross and weird. Okay. And your brain's all up and your shit's all and you talk like a so we can't be friends. And I kind of think the world would be better off with you.
Clara knew
what the fuck? These people are insane. Everybody's like so toxic and mean. What the fuck?
Knew this, but intentionally spread a lie that they met 10 years ago on the game StarCraft. When confronted, she admitted, I know, I wanted him to respond to the accusation. It was bait. At this point, I should...
Well, as long as it's bait, guys, it's okay, apparently.
Probably take some time to explain exactly what Kiwi Farms is. Kiwi Farms is an online website dedicated to discussing internet figures. Okay, you probably heard about internet lolcows, people like Chris Chan, Boogie2988, or Daniel Larson, who has his own legal problems of late. The website...
Well, let's just say for Daniel Larson, hopefully he goes to some kind of mental jail or something, because he is beyond... He's pretty fucked up, so...
It's composed of various threads where users effectively congregate to document and follow individuals with a negative lens.
It probably is not a good thing to do that, especially in Daniel Larson's case. Like, he's not a particularly good person, but trolling this guy into thinking he's like dating Grace Vanderwall, feeding into his like diagnosed schizophrenia and fucking autism, probably not safe for the people around. So yeah, I feel like probably shouldn't have done that one. It's probably not very good. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we have to acknowledge that Kiwi Farms does allow doxing, okay? On the site...
That's a shitty website then, huh?
It's permitted to post the personal information of anybody being discussed, including full names, phone numbers, home addresses, hell, even blood type if you can find it, and most other forms of personally identifiable information. It's also a site where anything goes, okay? It's like the Wild West of the internet. You ever try to look up me on some of these threads? You'll probably find Indian and poo in the loo and crazy stuff all day every day.
The fuck is poo in the loo? What the fuck?
Okay. Kiwi Farms was made back in 2013 by Joshua Connor Moon, also online known as Null. The original purpose of the site was to document internet figure Chris Chan. After they covered Chris Chan initially, it started to change itself and rebrand into a general purpose online gossip wiki, so to speak, where they started to cover
a bunch of women gossiping. Gotcha.
Various individuals like Darkside Phil, Boogie, Wings of Redemption, who all actually have threads. And the site does have a propensity to make threads about transgender individuals. Anti-trans sentiment is banned on a lot of major platforms, and as a result, the site has become a place for those opinions to effectively congregate. Now,
yeah, it sounds like a site full of like losers, honestly, overall.
Now, again, I want to start off by saying I don't endorse or support that behavior. In fact, I outright condemn it. All right,
there's David and Christine are engaged. Congratulations.
No reason to have any form of hate on the internet. That being said, all right, whatever goes on the site does fall under free speech and is entirely legal, okay? It's somewhat of a misnomer online that apparently...
Well, if they allow doxing, isn't that illegal? I don't know if that'd be true.
Apparently doxing somebody is against the law. It is against the law to hack someone's accounts and breach their privacy to obtain their personal information, but that behavior is not encouraged by the site, and of course that behavior is punishable by law. But technically, it is not against the law to post someone's address against their will. As shitty as that sounds, most controversial
if the address is at the bottom was obtained through public records. Okay.
Internet figures have threads on this site.
I don't know. It sounds like Kiwi Farms is like a breeding ground for fucking losers.
Where they not only document their personal information, but they collect any piece of content, tweets, and documents that they post online. So early on, Clara blamed the thread's creation on Destiny, saying he was the reason they found out about her. Later, she admitted
I'm gonna be real with you. If he was the reason, I wouldn't really blame him. It's not good. But I mean, if this person, if Keffals got his Twitch banned and he got, like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, you know, more like morally, I'd be like, oh, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. But I also wouldn't care because like you mess with this man's money, you know?
it was her constant instigating that actually caught their attention.
How did the Kiwi Farm stuff even start? They noticed me because I started doing Twitter ratios. And they went from getting mad about Twitter ratios to digging up every single thing in the last 28 years of my life, looking for more reasons to be mad at me.
Again, hypocrisy and misstatements are going to be rife in this video. After Destiny got banned from Twitch, the owner of Kiwi Farms discussed their feud on their podcast. The episode was streamed live on March 25th. Clara reacted on Twitter, calling him the final boss of transphobes, and proclaiming she wouldn't back down. I have done nothing wrong, nor will I be going
I feel like there's probably more people that are transphobic than that, no?
anywhere. Her thread was created the next day, racking up page after page, scrutinizing her early
Oh, it's like Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not going anywhere. Wow, she's so brave.
life and online history. That included rumors
And they also did drugs in that movie, and I don't know if that's relevant to this topic.
of embezzling funds from her local Communist Party chapter for opiates, and a supposed Discord server called the Catboy Ranch. It was posted
Interesting.
alongside her and her family's personal information, which understandably made her very upset. Clara spoke out about this, which led
I
many
would
people
too.
who'd been similarly targeted to join her in solidarity. This began what eventually became #DropKiwiFarms. #DropKiwiFarms was a movement to get the site taken off the internet.
Was I wrong about like another website being more like bad in this context, or is this maybe you'll get to it later? Maybe I could have just been wrong about it. I'm wrong about lots of stuff.
They specifically went after service providers like Cloudflare, who provided DDoS protection and mitigation services. They argued Kiwi Farms was a stalking and harassment site that bullied people into taking their own lives. However, this largely picked up after her story received widespread mainstream coverage. For a while, her focus stayed on trying to bludgeon Destiny with their reputation. On July 18th, Keffals announced a tell-all about Destiny's association with the site.
You know, it's so funny if she had, it sounds like if she had only not fucked with Destiny. It's so interesting. Because I feel like there are really quick ways to success in life, you know, and one of those would be to try to, you know, deplatform a controversial figure such as Destiny, who's looking a little bit this like a turtle here, you know, like a humanoid turtle. That's not an insult. I love turtles. And then she blew up and got all this attention, and then, you know, it winds down, and then what do you do again? It just seems like she's always doing something for attention. The whole Vosh defense. It's fine if you want to like defend him on your stream, be like, I think he's innocent because he was what going on Twitter, being obnoxious, doing this, doing that, doing too much. My registered nurses would say, "You're doing too much, brother." They would. That's not like a trans joke or anything. I say brother a lot. Yeah, you kind of get caught in this loop of looking for attention, whether it's positive or negative. You're just looking for attention, thinking that that's a good way to go, but it's not. It's stressful and it's stupid. You shouldn't be doing that.
This backfired because her thumbnail used a picture of Destiny's face, violating Twitch's policy on banned streamers. Her channel got banned before she could even start, forcing her to stream on YouTube instead. The attention only incentivized
I like YouTube better. I just like the audience better. Like, it's more diverse. It's not just one type of person, you know?
Kiwi Farms to keep prodding, and a week later, she fell victim to an attempted swatting. The incident has made public on the 9th of August in a video titled,
Not bad, though. You know what I'm saying?
"My life is in danger, I need your help." Clara explained that 4 days earlier, on August 5th, she woke up to police services pointing an assault rifle at her face.
On August 5th,
Wow. That's a heavy sleeper. You were sleeping all while that was happening? The cops came in. Would they like have a key? Came in nicely, pointed it in your face. Seems a little interesting.
I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle in my face.
Oh my
A letter
god.
had been emailed to every city council member in London,
What is an assault rifle? You know what I mean? Is it an AR an assault rifle?
Ontario, threatening a mass.
It's a big gun.
Clara was arrested, booked, and held in custody for 11 hours.
Oh, I think he censored that just in case. Okay.
They searched her apartment and confiscated several devices. They allegedly misgendered her and even booked her under her dead name.
Oh,
if you're unaware,
Jesus.
dead naming refers to using a prior name for a trans person, generally associated with the gender they were assigned at birth.
I mean, even if some of that's true, it's like the girl who cried wolf. Gotta be careful, guys. You know, you bitch about everything, and then all of a sudden nobody cares anymore. It's just like every time, like even in this video, even before the video, it's like, oh, you used a picture that made me look bad. That's transphobic, and it's like, oh, okay. It's like everything is transphobic, and it gets boring. It's just like if you can't just use your identity as a shield every single time, and then expect us to care. So maybe part of that story is true. I don't know, and I don't care because of how often they like to utilize their identity. It's like a tired excuse. We literally learned these things. We learned of these stories when we were children. You know?
This worsened an already traumatic experience she considered a hate crime. The video was posted alongside a GoFundMe with the stated intent of helping Clara recoup her losses, move immediately, and build a legal fund to protect her rights. It received widespread media attention, bringing in over $100,000 in donations. Even with their
that's a lot of snow, baby!
support, however, it seemed like there was no escape. Trolls kept figuring out her location as she was forced into hiding, and her battle against Kiwi Farms continued. Even after fleeing the continent, eventually she was successful in getting the site dropped by Cloudflare, who cited an imminent threat to human life. Without their protection, Kiwi Farms became vulnerable to illegal denial-of-service attacks and was forced to shut down. Now this
Probably no love lost there. Seems like a shitty website, but
is the story that the public was led to believe. Concluding a successful campaign...
Oh shit, he pulled one of... He just spent 13 minutes giving us the story that they want you to believe, and now we're going to restart the story. That's exciting.
Keffals reiterated over and over that the site had been shut down. It only became more difficult to insist as time had gone on, given it's obviously not true. Kiwi Farms is up to this day, and by all metrics, it has way more stability than ever before. And what
Damn, she just made it stronger.
many of her supporters don't realize is that this is truly the beginning of the web of lies that make up this entire ordeal. Almost everything you've heard about this whole situation is a lie. And that's why I'm going to explore in depth in these next two sections. These are two very
Mudahar, don't do it. Don't bully my transgender friend. You're being transphobic. Don't do it.
important aspects to the story to address her portrayal of the swatting and how exactly the money was spent. When it comes to something as serious as swatting,
She better have spent it on something cool. $100,000? Shit, if I had that, I'd spend it on a new fence, maybe automatic sprinklers on my house, stuff like that, you know?
it's important not to downplay its severity. This is a crime that's taken innocent people's lives. But curiously, her story began to change as time went on. The narrative set forth in her initial video is one of terror. Clara says on the 5th of August, she is awoken by police services pointing an assault rifle at her face. This specific detail is referenced in her video several times.
On August 5th,
But guys, it may not have really happened, but it felt like it happened. That's the new excuse you hear from people. You remember Hassan Minaj? He would tell people, like, I was trying to communicate the feelings I felt during particular events, so I flared them up a little bit so that you would understand my feelings on it. And that's what I'm surprised she hasn't said it yet. You think that she would be smart enough to come, even though it's bullshit? That would be a compelling argument. I know that this might not have happened, but it felt like it happened. In order to communicate how I felt in the moment, I felt like I needed to use this terminology so you would really understand how I felt. You know?
I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home. When I was woken
Why would you want a black house? That's not a good idea. It's lazy. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. I'm pretty sure, like, doesn't black, like, dark colors absorb heat? So if you had a black house, wouldn't that just make your house hot? Wouldn't you want to get, like, a white colors, lighter, like, brighter colors to reflect the sun? Wouldn't that be smarter? I'm being like 100% serious here. I don't think you want to get like a black siding on your house. I think that would like fuck you up.
woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me.
Oh my
I thought
God.
I was going to die. I feel traumatized.
Her story then changed to an encounter in the hallway. The exact phrasing is that she went into the hallway and then saw the weapon.
The email, Sorrenti says, had given out her real address and resulted in police with guns at her doorstep and her being arrested.
When I went into the hallway and then saw that
Wow, she looks terrible there. I think it's on purpose, it's like a dramatization. Yeah.
assault rifle, I screamed and I thought I was
I think it's for paint and clothing, man.
going to die.
A month later, she admitted that they didn't enter her apartment until after she was in custody.
They did not go into my apartment until after I was in custody.
Oh, she's so stupid. She can't even keep up her own lies. What?
And they had a search warrant signed.
These next few clips are of Alex, her fiance at the time. Alex confirms she didn't wake up with a gun in her face
Is Alex what kind of person is Alex?
and reveals Clara wasn't even the one to answer the door. They spoke to Alex first, who was already awake, and gave Clara enough time to put on pajamas.
Damn it, Clara. Alex is waking up before you?
So it wasn't quite that they knocked on the door and I answered. Rather, I was getting ready for the shower and there was a tremendous pounding.
Oh, I like where this is going.
And so, yeah, someone did not wake her with a rifle pointed 3 inches from her face.
Ooh.
But essentially, as soon as she woke up,
Was I in a state of undress? I was naked and
Was I in a state of undress? Who talks like that? Like that is almost the most impressive English assignment I've ever heard. Am I in a state of undress? What the fuck? That's like I can't even speak. It's just like every bit of the language just has to be sensationalized. Oh, were you like naked at the time? Were you like still in your PJs? Those are what normal people would say. Was I in a state of undress? You know, it feels a little as loaded as possible in that instance. I'm in a state of duress, you know? It's just like, what the fuck?
I had to put on a pair of pajamas that was like on the floor before I could even go out to see the police officers.
Yeah, that's what you do. You usually take your clothes off, throw them on the floor, and go to sleep, and then wake up and go, ugh, and then you got to go put it in the laundry.
See, the story has already morphed significantly.
They're on the floor. Yeah, you're very unique in that one.
From Clara waking up to guns in her face, to seeing guns in the hallway, to police never entering the apartment at all. The lack of consistency is concerning, given she was supposed to be taking legal action against them. And I mean, Keffals went so far as to compare herself to a victim of police brutality.
Every time I see another story involving an innocent black man being killed by the police, I think back to last month when I had an assault rifle pointed at me by the police, and how easily that situated could have escalated if I wasn't white. I hope Elijah McClain finds justice. Yikes. Definitely trying to insert yourself with the guys. Who's more racist, the white person who doesn't care about your issues, or this person? I feel like this is insanely insensitive. And desperate to try to like insert themselves into some kind of like a racial issue going on. Jesus Christ. What a fucking asshole.
Every time I see another story involving an innocent black man being killed by the police.
A black man?
I think back to last month when I had an assault rifle. Dog, whatever you think about the interaction, it is by no means comparable to what happened to Elijah McClain. And the fact that she can't keep her story straight just makes this so much more worse. Clara,
you seem confused, Clara.
Also claimed police were transphobic and booked her under a dead name. If you're unaware, dead naming again refers to using a prior name for a trans person generally associated with the gender they were assigned at birth.
During the arrest, the police officer referred to me.
Dude, Mudahar's so woke now. He said assigned at birth. Do you hear this? You know what I mean? He's not saying your gender. He's saying you're not. He's not saying your biological sex. He's saying your gender assigned at birth. Very, very progressive. More progressive than Keffals? It's possible.
By my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son. The fact that a fake email led to London Police Services booking me under my dead name reveals the prejudice.
In their defense in London, they can't tell boys from girls over there. They're all terrible looking. They look like shit. So that's it's understandable why they'd have that mishap, we'll call it.
That many police have towards transgender people.
This
is despite the fact that the email contained my real name before ever even mentioning my dead name. This is one of the property bags returned to me after I was released from custody.
Okay.
All of the property bags returned to me have Roberts written on them. Roberts was my last name until I legally changed my name first to Kaylee Sorrenti on January 25th, 2012.
On August 11th!
Nothing communicates to me that you're afraid of doxing, like constantly telling everybody your real name. I don't know.
London Police Chief Steve Williams put out a statement regarding some of her accusations. He states that all activity in the holding cells is monitored by audio and video equipment. They reviewed the footage and found no evidence of Miss Sorrenti being addressed by her dead name and gender.
Now, they could be lying, but I feel like Keffals lies a lot, so we give the police a break here.
Williams concluded her dead name was used on property bags due to the existence of a prior police report, explaining that it was literally for tracking purposes.
You know, it's so funny because if Keffals wasn't a liar, you could sit here and be like, there are things that happen in life that are unfair. It's not necessarily people don't necessarily try to do negative things to you, but it's like unfair. So like if a trans person does get dead named, like their last name or their old name is on their police report or something, I could see why that's upsetting. But that doesn't mean that every moment of your life that's uncomfortable to you is a justifier to go and try to cancel somebody, this is what that is to some extent. Like, it's okay to just be upset and shut the fuck up about it. You don't have to go like, this person did this to me, they hurt me in this way. Shut up. We don't need to hear about especially when it's targeted. Like I could tell you a story. I did one of those things, right, where it's like when the place is closing, for $6 you get like $20 worth of food. So I went there around 8:30 last night, and I got there with my wife, and we confirmed the stuff on the phone, and there was this girl who walked in after us, and we let her go in front of us, right? And she was doing the same thing. She wasn't ready. She hadn't confirmed on her phone, but they gave her some time to do that, and then they gave her the food, and the guy's like, give her all the pizza. I said, excuse me, sir? I didn't actually say that. I thought that. Because why would I? I'm not going to say anything. I'm thinking, excuse me, sir? What did you just say? They give her a buffalo slice. They give her a barbecue slice. They give her like a grandma slice. And she walks out of there and we walk up there. Right? We're waiting the whole time. I'm 6'4". You saw me, motherfucker. He's like, oh, we just gave you all a pizza. You know what he gives me? A spinach and mushroom calzone. And 2 pepperoni pinwheels, which not great, but they were like this deep. I didn't like them. But you gave me not the regular calzone, the spinach and mushroom calzone. I was fucking flabbergasted. I was angry. I haven't been that angry in a long time. It was purely and wholly unjustifiable how angry I was, but I was so pissed off. I watched, and you know what it is? It's if I had showed up there, if I had showed up and they all they had left was garbage, that's one thing. But I watched them give away 3 beautiful, delicious slices of pizza. And then you hand me a spinach and mushroom calzone. And so I was pretty angry about that. So anyway, the point that I'm making is I'm not ever going to tell you what restaurant did that because that would be insane. This is a story about how something was annoying that happened to me. This isn't about canceling people. You don't have to go on the internet and be like, everybody, this is what this person, they did this wrong thing, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. You don't have to do that. It's asshole stuff. You know, because then it opens people up to be like, wait, that wasn't that bad. Right?
He apologized.
Like, I get it. The guy was nice. He felt bad, so he gave us 2 Zeppelis, too. They were terrible. They had no sugar on them. I was actually even more fucking angry about that. And he touched them with his hands. I was like, oh. But they meant well. They were nice people. But you don't always have to try to cancel everybody, you know?
And ensured a solution would be implemented to prevent any of this in the future. Claire responded to the statement by reiterating her dead name was used during the arrest. She even speculated the timing may have been intentional so they
Are you saying the police officers resurrected it? Oh my God, why did they do that to Mr. Floyd? It's terrible.
wouldn't get caught.
It's important that he said, while I
Sorry.
cannot confirm any conversations which might have transpired during Miss Sorrenti's initial arrest, and that's when it happened. The activity in the holding cells is monitored, and I never made a statement about any bad things that happened while I was in custody. I would absolutely assume that when the police know that these things are being recorded and can be part of public record, they would be more careful with how they go about their business. I don't expect them to acknowledge how bad the situation actually was. And there's no way of verifying it besides first-person testimony because there's no body cams in the London Police Service.
Her own partner then contradicts the claim that she was dead named during the arrest, though alludes to unspecified misgendering that occurred. Once again, any instance after the arrest should have been captured on recording.
And they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying, Clara Sorrenti. Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either.
As far as I know, is there anything I missed, Alex?
As far as I know.
I think that's really the main gist of the arrest portion, which was really the most traumatic in terms of, having the guns pointed at us, the misgendering that occurred. Yeah, that whole arrest.
Oh my God. These professional victims, dude. Holy shit.
That is how it happened. It wasn't straight up dynamic entry. They didn't.
The absence of
Got our own baby reindeer here, guys. Professional victim.
evidence means that this
Don't come at me for that. It's true. Watch the show and you'll know what I mean.
only remains a he said, she said scenario. But it's hard
Still a good show. I'm just saying. That guy wasn't exactly the hero of his story. I don't think he tried to present himself as such. But,
to take Clara's word at face value, given her complete and total lack of credibility. Another key part of her story was that police had confiscated their devices, resulting in significant financial damages.
oh,
They seized
shit.
both my personal and work phone, as well as
What if they had said, Destiny sent us, as they destroyed her finances? How funny would that be?
the work computer that I broadcast on Twitch from. Not only that, but the police seized my fiance's cell phones and laptop, as well
Yeah, for professional victims, they're pretty bad at it. True.
as their external drive, which contained the only copy of their PhD thesis and other important university
Player hating degree?
documents. Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones.
And this was one of her justifications to launch the
Thousands of dollars? Like, first and foremost, you should have a backup computer. I have a backup computer and I have a backup laptop specifically. Like, specifically the laptop. Very important. You should have backups, but also shut up.
GoFundMe to recoup her
And then didn't she go and decide to do IRL streaming after she cried about how she was afraid of getting doxxed? Like
losses.
I started a GoFundMe.
And then didn't she kill her guinea pig?
To move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights.
But there were no losses to recoup. The devices were returned after 3 days.
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
3 days. That's fucking wild.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice.
3 days. 3 days, you know what I mean?
Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
Now, if we're to believe
3 days? You could have borrowed someone else's computer. You could have got yourself like a backup laptop, which you should have anyway if you're going to travel. Like I go on vacation and I bring laptops. It's fucking crazy. Although I guess they took that away. Either way, dude, get the fuck out of here.
that she meant 3 days after the swatting, that would place it on August 8th, a day before the GoFundMe started. There's also footage of Clara
That might have been 3 days after they confiscated her stuff, which I don't know when that happened in the timeline, but
picking up her belongings from the police station, where you can see this
yeah, true. The police would have taken her backup computers. True, that's true. But still, 3. I mean, I don't know, dude. I struggle to give a shit. You know,
property bag. It heavily resembles the property bag seen in her initial video. A close-up of one of the labels shows us a date of August 8th, 2022. This again implies that she got her stuff back before the video and GoFundMe ever even went live.
Wait.
Belongings from the police station, where you can see this property bag. It heavily resembles the property bag seen in her initial video. A close-up of one of the labels shows us a date of.
Is this confirmed her stuff? Is this confirmed her the picture? Did she show people this picture?
August 8th, 2022. This again implies that she got her stuff back before the video and GoFundMe ever even went live.
No fucking way. Did she actually show that photo to them? What a fucking idiot. Holy shit. Oh my god. I find it hard to believe. This is the smoke. This is like, I find it hard to believe because this is a literal smoking gun. All right. Before you get surgery and they put it inside you, you know? This is the smoking gun though. Like, this is insane. So basically she begged for money saying she didn't have any of her stuff, but she had everything back by then. I find it hard to believe because, like, wow, like, that is incredibly dishonest, and you'd have to be a fucking moron to do that. And you'd have to be somebody who killed their guinea pig, too. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, like, if this is true, she is really, really dumb. Like, that is incredible. Like, I'm impressed. I couldn't think any lower of you at this point. Wow, that's insane.
It implies that she got her stuff back before the video and GoFundMe ever even went live.
Destiny says hello.
And knowingly lied about needing to buy a new cell phone and computer. Even if you don't want to make that assertion, at best, she got her stuff back the next day. Because this upload is dated August 10th. There is no way to reconcile these statements. And either way, it was dishonest to never update that campaign to reflect this.
Damn.
Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed. And I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones, so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened to us.
Now, Keffals launched her GoFundMe on August 9, 2022
What the fuck?
with an initial goal of $20,000.
Incredible.
The page claims that if this amount was exceeded, the funds would be allocated to a legal fund to protect herself against ongoing and future threats to her safety. However, this was later changed to, I am keeping the GoFundMe up, but all donations are going directly to my legal fund, which I will be using to seek justice.
It's so stupid because, you know, if you want to donate money to her, that's fine. But, like, not allowing people an informed decision to do so is just scummy. It's just fucking dumb, you know?
Now, this is a very, very important distinction, because it means all...
And even if she makes a YouTube video saying, like, oh, guys, I've changed my mind. A lot of these people don't give a shit about her YouTube. They saw her on the news. And they were just like, oh, I feel so bad for this trans person. Let me donate to her. You know what I mean?
All the donations past the first 20 grand were explicitly for legal action. See, Clara gradually kept raising the goal until it reached over $100,000 on the 20th.
Based alert.
If you want to be technical, it actually never ended because she's still taking donations to this day.
Oh my God.
In fact, there wasn't even a fixed amount, which is odd, as it makes it seem like her goal was to basically raise as much money as possible rather than afford an intentional expense. Naturally, with her effort raising over $100,000, there were questions over how the money was spent.
Yeah.
Claire has tried to
Well, yeah, and also you guys are transphobic for asking, right?
poison the well numerous times by calling anyone who asks this question bad faith. I'll never do a GoFundMe breakdown for bad faith actors who neither support me nor contributed to the fund in
You're so strong, Clara.
the first place. Well,
You're such a strong lass.
what if I gave money? Am I now allowed to ask? Ooh, that's a question we should bring up. You have to remember, this was a story that got mainstream coverage. There were over 150 articles published about the situation, including The Guardian, NBC, CNN, Bloomberg, the Associated Press, and
Wow, that's the most attention she's ever gotten or will get. Isn't that fucking crazy? She'll never reach that high again. It doesn't matter how many self-medications that she engages in. She'll never reach the high of being that popular in a positive capacity and in her entire life ever again. Like, really think about that. Like, she peaked. There's no way that she'll get lucky enough to get like positive attention like that, where hundreds of articles are written about her in a way where she's a victim and she's, you know, our little professional victim, our little comedian, ever in her entire life. This is pretty much it. What a sad thing to think, you know?
Canadian state-funded news outlet CBC. Popular politicians like Jagmeet Singh of the NDP party took a stand by her publicly. Normies were led to believe a series of events that did not occur. And there are regular folk out there who don't have the time or capability to ensure their funds weren't misused, especially when there is a limited amount of financial support for at-risk members of the trans community.
True.
There is nothing wrong with questioning for transparency of where this money had went. In fact, more people should actually be asking where this money even went. Clara posted this photo in her Discord
I'm just annoyed because I came here to do this quest and I forgot it doesn't spawn until 9 o'clock at night.
server, which was enough for trolls to bombard the hotel with pizzas. The next day, she uploaded a video declaring things had escalated and she was now in hiding. If you recall, another
She blocked you because you followed me on Twitter. What? Is that true? There's no way. That's weird. I don't even think that she even knows who I am.
goal of hers was to move out immediately after someone hacked her Uber Eats account and sent $500 worth of food.
So what happened? I woke up.
She probably did it herself and was like, I was hacked, but she really ate it. Oh, okay.
And I got an email that the Uber, the email for my Uber Eats account was changed. And then
My wife
I
is...
looked outside the door.
Shut up, bitch. My wife is... Sorry. My wife is excited because one of her friends is getting married and she wants to get them a gift. So she's just texting her back. So.
And there was like at least...
Why does she look like she's in a fallout shelter? What the fuck? I mean, I'm assuming this is not real, but I could see her living in this kind of condition. She looks like a person I used to play Counter-Strike with back in the day. They didn't shower a lot, which, by the way, is your own choice. God bless. So.
$500 worth of food ordered with my hacked Uber account. So I got doxxed again. Except this time I also got hacked.
Oh,
She
Jesus.
expedited an already planned trip to Europe. Her rationale was that London police didn't have the resources to stop online trolls. And then she went live to provide further details.
Are you moving to Europe?
Remember when Hassan was like, hey, listen, you shouldn't respond to the trolls so much. It makes them feel empowered. And she didn't listen and she called him transphobic. That's so funny because he was kind of right. I haven't said that at the time, bro. It's crazy.
Europe? I'm going to be living there for a while.
I honestly, like, got all okay, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. All jokes aside, guys, the one positive thing about Keffals' downfall is we might see that OF coming soon. And we're gonna take a look at it. All right, we're gonna take a look at it. All right. Don't worry, I'm gonna wait for the leaks. All right. I'm not giving you any more money. I'm not giving you any more money for that.
But I'm not moving there. My fiance is staying back in Canada, and I'm gonna be in the UK on my own for a while.
Is that the way that she decided to break up with her fiance, by leaving them behind?
I think that the current plan is that
That's true. Papa has so many massive interleft celebrities who know who he is and can't believe Keffals does. That's true. It's so funny because Madison Beer and LeBron James's kid used to follow me on TikTok. I forgot about that. So Madison Beer and LeBron James's kid know who I am. Oh, it's unfortunate I got banned. Damn. Now I'm thinking I forgot about that. But anyway, that's life. They knew who I was. So why the fuck wouldn't this person? I've fallen pretty far down, huh? God damn. Really reflecting on this. Learning. It's a learning experience, guys.
2-3 weeks of my stay, my fiance is going to be coming over, and we'll stay together for a while. On Monday, I find out if I got approved or not for the new place that I want to live at. which will give us a really good time frame of what we're gonna do.
Her fans begged her to stop giving out information.
Stop giving out details.
Get your own Madison beer. Imagine naming yourself after a drink.
Stop telling me what to do.
Later that day, Clara tweeted, "Do I have any followers in Europe? Let me know if you want to meet up."
She's trying to meet up for sex, guys. This is not Craigslist, it's YouTube.
Her first stream back revealed she was in Northern Ireland.
So I'm okay. I am currently in.
That's true. Caleb Hammer, Willie Mack, Turkey Tom, Destiny, Acrello. That's true. There's a lot of people who seem to know me. Yeah, true.
Ireland. I am staying with a friend.
Oh, there's some lesbian comedian who follows me on TikTok too. I don't know how big they are though.
Safe. Things are good. Don't tell people what country. It is completely fine.
We're building it back up.
You know how dense?
Oh, Uncle Tix. Uncle Tix and I are mutuals. Right here. He follows me too. He's a pretty cool guy. Maybe I should go to Australia. I think that's where he lives, and I should meet up with him. Heather Shaw. That's the lesbian I was talking about. She likes my content, apparently. She followed me first. Oh, AJ and Big Justice. That's another one who follows me on TikTok. The Costco guys. You can't, you know, we do have Muscle Pilled. You guys probably don't know him. He's not as popular, but he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. Shirtless Eddie. Cannot forget about Shirtless Eddie. We're mutuals as well. I think that's pretty much all the famous people. There's Curly. Oh, there's Curly too. I don't know what he's been up to lately. I don't even know if he's been making content right now, to be honest with you. This guy's pretty good. We're mutuals. He's pretty funny on TikTok. Felonious Falafel. He's a funny guy. I like him. So we got oh right, I forgot Joe Bartolosi. We're mutuals as well. I guess I do have a little bit of a repertoire here. I got a little bit of a build up. I got quite a few people. Mike Klum. That's true. Michael Klumberger. Yeah, true. So.
Ireland is very dense country. I do not think it's going to be a problem.
She was staying with a friend named Ellen, her ex-fiance.
That's true. Amaranth follows me as well. Amaranth follows me on YouTube now, and Mudahar's girlfriend follows me on Instagram. Go. We're racking them up, baby.
They never moved over for reasons we're actually going to discuss later. Ellen had already been doxxed months prior, and their apartment was found within 24 hours. And a troll took this photo outside their building. They were able to find her location just by using a doorknob.
Damn. Well, I mean, Ireland's pretty small.
To be clear, I'm not endorsing any of this behavior or doing it, or even saying if you're careless, you deserve that this happens to you. My argument is that if you're willing to leave a continent to another continent to escape trolls, there is a lot you could do for less to mitigate the risk of doxing.
And also, Ireland's not that big. Why the fuck would you go there?
For example, not my...
Turkey Tom mentioned every stream. He's obsessed, dude. Look at this. How could you not be? How could you not be obsessed with this? Look at this. We don't even know about it. We don't even know about it right now. We don't even know, dude. It's fucking jacked up, dude. It's jacked up.
Equipment specifically for IRL streaming and announcing where you're going to be in advance. At one point, Ellen revealed they were going to go to visit a poutine truck in Belfast.
Smart. Smart.
The owner received bomb threats, which Clara used to tease an IRL stream on Twitter. Hey, maybe it's a one-off mistake, right? A day later, Ellen publicly fielded suggestions for future IRL stream locations in Ireland.
These people are dumb as shit.
I want to reiterate, if you are in hiding, why would you buy new streaming equipment specifically for streaming in the public, and then also share where you plan on going in advance? By her own admission, she wanted to stoke the flames in order to maximize publicity.
Well, I mean, it's possible. That's probably what it is. I mean, I think Keffals is I think that she's a professional victim. I think it's time that we understand that there are people out there who are addicted to this stuff. Especially, like, listen, I know I'm going to bring it up again. That show, Baby Reindeer, was very good. It was compelling. And the main character, I didn't like him. I don't think he's a horrible person, truly flawed individual. But one of the things that he admits is that he is he basically admits he's a professional victim. There's so many instances where he put himself in harm's way, and he even says it in the show over and over again because he was addicted to the feeling. And it's like, that's what we have here. No? That's what we have here. Someone who's addicted to putting themselves in harm's way for attention because they feel like it gives them a high by doing it. We have Keffals. That's the person. This person, that is who they are. So, like, let's keep that in mind, that the entire thing is a performance. And it's a lot of people do the exact same thing, especially like these internet personalities who are desperate for attention. Not positive attention, Not deserved attention, just attention. So
by intentionally making myself a lightning rod so I could make Kiwi Farms more vicious and attack me to the point where Cloudflare had no choice. Because every time they attacked me, I publicized it. One of the things
oh my God.
that I did intentionally for the success of the campaign was make myself a lightning rod. I egged.
She's trying to put it out there in this way where she's like, I'm a brave soldier. When the reality is that she's addicted to this feeling. And to me, it supports the fact that she started potentially doing some kind of drugs. You know, I don't know if that's an allegation or if that's confirmed, but like this is like a thing. It's like transfer addiction is a very real thing. When fat people like myself, when we go on, like we lose, like when you get like different surgeries to help you lose weight, you have an addiction to food, and once that addiction goes away, transfer addiction sets in a pretty high percentage of people. I think it's like at least 20% of people will have a transfer addiction. They'll get addicted to something else. It's like drugs or alcohol or cigarettes or something else. It's a transfer addiction. It's like, oh, this is, to me, it's a potential transfer addiction. It's trying to chase a high. You know, and you know, there's different things I'm addicted to, dude. I got food and I got the gooning, baby. You know, it's like some form of an addictive personality. So it's like, if people don't give me enough attention for me to get, you know, to be addicted to that attention, I guess I'm gonna have to try something else. You know, play in that snow, baby.
I egged Kiwi Farms on. I wanted them to attack me because by doing that, I was able to show the world how fucking vile they are.
In the past, streamers have been punished for similar behavior. Ice Poseidon was notorious for being a constant target of swatting.
What about Ice Poseidon?
He was ultimately banned after streaming and getting swatted inside an airport. And while it wasn't his fault,
I'm not putting any emphasis on the trans part of transfer addiction. Shut the fuck up. You're so stupid.
At a certain point, he was clearly feigning ignorance and enabling his behavior for content. What makes Clara's behavior different, and what actually prevented her from staying in Canada? Well, if you think it's fucked up for me to question it, don't worry, because Keffals has since admitted
question everything. Respectfully, of course.
That this entire cover story was all a lie. Nowadays, her explanation for leaving the continent was not to escape online harassment, but to escape her ex-fiancé, Alex, who she now accuses of being abusive. To not get too deep into it...
So just to be clear, if Alex... And I could be wrong here. Forgive my insensitivity, but you're telling me that Alex, the person that you were like, yeah, I'm just going to kind of go to Ireland and I'm going to leave them in fucking Canada or whatever. They were just like, oh, the abusive ex was like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because I don't know if you guys know this, abusers are really well known for letting the people they abuse go almost instantaneously without question. They're just like, yeah, no problem. Bye. It's a big abuser tactic, actually. Okay.
This is after her ex-fiancé called her out for leaving to cheat on her with Ellen.
This is where I need to admit something. Last year, I was in the papers. This was on CBC, Canada's biggest media outlet. Twitch streamer and trans activist.
Okay, I didn't mean to emphasize that part. Okay, stop.
This says she's leaving Canada for a while due to harassment. Earlier this month, Clara Sorrenti was the target of a swatting incident and has been doxxed and hacked. And there was a criticism that I frequently got throughout that time. How does moving to a different country help you with online harassment?
How does telling people what country that you're moving to help you, especially a smaller one?
And
you'd think you'd move somewhere in the United States. The United States is fucking huge compared to, like, you know, all of our allies in Europe. It's crazy. It's actually fucking huge. You know, so like, why would you go to this little baby place? What is Ireland the size of fucking Rhode Island? What are you doing?
As we found out, it didn't, because once I landed in Belfast, I had people showing up, making threats outside of where I was staying.
Probably because you mentioned where you're going, no?
And I knew that no matter where I went in the world, I would not escape online harassment as long as I was an online figure. And the truth...
Whoa, hard R, girl.
Truth is, I left the country because of my ex, and because I was scared of my ex. Because my ex was abusive and abused me emotionally and yelled at me and consistently coerced me into sex.
Yeah, I don't believe any of this, just to be absolutely honest with you. I don't care. First and foremost, like, somebody yelling at you is an abuse. I know that sounds weird, but people fight in Keffals seems like a very difficult person to be in a relationship with. So for all I know, if this person did yell at her and abuse her, how do we know that it wasn't some kind of retaliatory abuse? That happens in a lot of these situations. You have one abusive partner. I see Keffals. Wouldn't doubt she would potentially be that kind of person. being horrible to her partner, and her partner is responding with the same level of energy. Okay, but either way, I doubt it was abusive. It's probably toxic. All right, you're somebody. It is listen, and I've talked to my wife about this. It is extraordinarily difficult to be dating somebody who is an online individual, an online figure. The world is a little bit different. It's a little bit weirder. It's very bit disconnected from the reality of the world. You will have some kind of an addiction to your phone in different instances. It's a lot of online like weirdness and pressures and this and that. And by the way, easiest job I've ever had in the world. But it comes with some unique stressors. So you're trying to tell me that the online person who baits for attention, who's a professional victim, who's constantly framing things as if you are, constantly being abused by the entire world. You're telling me that your partner would yell at you sometimes? Okay, I don't care. As far as the coercion sex, again, I don't trust anything that she says. I don't think that your horribly abusive ex would just let you leave on a whim and not be like, I'm coming with you. If you were truly afraid, that just wouldn't happen. I just don't believe it. What's more likely is that you're in a toxic relationship because you're very hard to be with. People who are internet personalities already are in the first place, but then on top of it, you are a professional victim. You're addicted to being a victim, and you're probably extraordinarily difficult to be with, and it didn't work out. And you're trying to make it seem like you're a victim again of something else. There's no moment in your life where you're not a victim. That's her entire life. There's not a single moment in her life where she is not a victim. Everything is a victim. This video came out. She's a victim of this video. Her ex, she's a victim of her ex. Okay, Kiwi Farms, she's a victim of Kiwi Farms. Destiny, she's a victim of Destiny. Hassan, she's a victim of Hassan. She'll say that as well. A victim of Vosh in some capacity, right? Because she was saying things along the lines of, Vosh's actions have brought a lot of negative attention onto this community because of the fucking horse short stack goblin stuff. She's a victim of Tipster because the only reason that she defended Vosh is because Vosh inserted himself into there, and now she had to do it because two of her friends were in a controversy. She's a victim to every single moment of her life. Not because she actually is, because she wants it to herself to be. She likes being a victim. She loves it. She loves it. She seeks it out. She seeks out being a victim. She seeks out the framing of being a victim. That's who she is. That's what she is. That's what she wants to be, and she enjoys it. She enjoys it. She likes it when it happens. That's the only thing I could think of. That's the only thing I could think of. So
that's why I left. But I couldn't tell anyone. I didn't want it to be a big thing. I didn't want it to be in the papers while all the journalists were circling around and writing their stories. I didn't want that
because it wasn't true.
Be known. I didn't want any of this to ever be out in public.
Okay.
So here's
her escape.
Let's see what that said.
Ever be out in public. So
all right. I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to mess with the screen's going to look weird for a little bit. I had a streamer friend who lives in the UK and offered to let me live with them or with him and his wife for a bit, and it's such a something offer. Just fuck out of the country. Yeah, maybe LOL. But would you even be cool with me doing that? I feel like it just make you really sad. I'd hope you want me to bring me. You don't have a passport. I thought you could pay for to expedite your first one. Okay. So if this person was abusive, they would that wouldn't be a conversation that you're having. It sounds like Keffals wanted to break up with this person by leaving the country. Like literally biggest coward move I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay. Incredible.
Here's
her escape.
She made an excuse to not help her ex get a passport more quickly because she just didn't want to be with them anymore and didn't have the balls to say so. Okay. Incredible.
Basically amounted to a paid-for vacation across Europe, evident by a leaked post from her closed Twitter circle on September 14th. Claire reveals she was staying in Ireland until the 27th, then heading to Spain until the 11th, before moving into her apartment on the 12th. Now, the dates imply that she had already just bought tickets, but she ended up in London instead to watch a play. Claire then briefly returned.
Was it any good? Abigail's Thorn. I don't know what the fuck that is.
To Ireland before flying to the United States to attend TwitchCon. Not only did she stream the event IRL, but she even antagonized Destiny's ex-wife for being married to him.
Keffals
kind of a base alert there.
went to go.
That's probably why Melina broke up with Destiny, because Keffals, through her infinite intelligence and wisdom and introspective thoughts and analysis, had convinced Melina that Destiny was not a good guy. Oh my god.
And she went up to Melina, and she was like, she was shaking. Like, it was like she was so anxious or so angry, she was shaking, right? And
maybe she was just weaning off, you know?
She said, tell your husband, if he doesn't stop coming for me, I'm going to get his YouTube channel deleted.
Was it like a joke or like a real thing she said? Why would you say that's... Okay, is this real?
No memes. That happened. Okay.
So
did she think it was a joke? That is... I don't even know what to say. That might be the most terminally online, weirdly childish thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Either she said that seriously because she is a crazy fucking professional victim, or she thought that would be funny. Okay, whatever.
Keffals moved into her new apartment on October 12th and used some of the GoFundMe money to pay for a full year's worth of rent in advance.
So just a quick update. I have an apartment for October. I'm moving then. I have it. I've already paid. I'm putting it, like, I'm using the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year in advance.
Now, which is not something she ever said she was going to do, and a huge departure from just moving. Clara moves into a...
Why would you even tell us what you're doing with your money? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm just being honest with you. Why would you be that stupid? Just why are you, like, letting us know all these things?
Luxury apartment, and with a low approximation amounting to $28,000. So far, Clara has admitted to spending the money on new devices, as well as equipment for IRL streaming. She traveled across Europe, planning to visit Spain from Ireland, but ended up at a play in London instead. She then flies to TwitchCon in the United States before getting an apartment in Canada, and then paying an entire year's worth of rent. There, she bought even more equipment to build a professional set with studio lights. While it's difficult to make an exact calculation...
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. For the first, like, 4 years or 3 years of me streaming, I used like a less than $2,500 setup, and now I've just upgraded, and I think that I've altogether spent maybe $6,000. It's because I got a new desk that was like $800. I got a chair that was like $500 because I'm morbidly obese. What's that? 13. My computer was like 22, so 13, 33, 35. New webcam, 30, that's 37, mouse keyboard 3. Okay, I spent less than $4,000. Okay. Probably like, well, okay, so I didn't even spend that much. What the fuck do you need all like this perfect shit? What do? You don't need a whole, it just sounds like an excuse to spend money. So my setup here, and it's like, it's already a little the couch behind me too. But the point is that like you're going and doing a professional setup for what? You don't have a fucking podcast. Why do you need that? Like, buy a nice computer and a webcam. Like, what are you doing? What's the point? What the fuck?
Calculation for this, the gaming chair alone, her gaming chair, would have cost over $2,000.
What the fuck? My chair costs, it's a lazy boy. It's $500 because it's for fat people. What the hell are you doing?
To take extra caution.
$2,500 is not bad for a stream for an intro streaming setup. That's pretty cheap. It was a cheap setup.
With the set that I made.
I'm a small streamer. I don't need to spend that much. Who the fuck is she? She's a small streamer too. What does she do?
Not even a set.
What is this? What's that? What's the magical camera for? What do you need that for? Nothing. It's like fucking ridiculous.
It's just like part of my home. But it is basically a set. I have like studio lights. I have like whole camera thing. It's
Why?
very professional.
Unnecessarily professional.
So I had to go through all of this as soon as I got back from TwitchCon to make sure that I could just like return to my life before I was swatted.
But see, that wasn't the only thing she admits to spending some of this GoFundMe money on. Clara also says she contracted a security company in September to keep herself safe.
Okay, I'm sure that's true.
I consulted with a security company, and they made all of my devices.
A decent streaming computer can be easily $2,000 to $3,000 on its own. Bro, I have a $2,200 computer. You don't need a magical, amazing computer for this stuff. Like, just to be clear, the amount that you get out of a $3,000 computer versus a $2,000 computer is like maybe a 20% bump on, but like not even on like quality. And it's not even. Like, what is she doing? Playing a video game and watching someone else's video? That's what I'm doing. What do you think you really need for this? It's nothing. It's nothing. She's gotten almost 0%. She guys, her stream quality looks slightly better than mine with like double or triple the amount of money spent. It's just an excuse to spend money. Why? Well, she might be addicted to it. Okay? It's an excuse to spend money. It's just wanting to spend money to feel good about yourself.
Devices hack proof, and they gave me tips on not getting doxxed again. They also helped me with a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't talk about because I signed an NDA, like a non-disclosure agreement.
Whoa. Then you should definitely just be talking about it in general.
I already hired a lawyer, and all of the information between me and my lawyer is privileged and confidential, and I can't talk about it.
Okay.
So the money towards a legal fund is being utilized, but until the point where I can actually talk about what I'm doing, I can't say anything. So I use the money to find a place, to contract a security company to keep myself safe, and to hire a lawyer.
This raises an interesting question on what the security company was doing beyond making her devices hack-proof.
I don't think that there was a security company personally, but I just dare to question the narrative.
That same month, she confronted a prolific member of the Kiwi Farms thread. Keffals tried to intimidate the user with their personal information, claiming to have hired a private investigator.
You don't understand though, dude. The reason that she's threatening to dox this person is because she was doxed before. It's a trauma response, guys.
I know the PI will get me more, though. He's still talking to the family and school officials. This didn't work because they doxed the wrong person. The
So fucking stupid.
user mocked her and asked if she paid for the PI using her GoFundMe. Clara responded, "No, the GoFundMe is currently in savings until I need to use it." In case you doubt the authenticity of these messages, Clara has confirmed.
I have a real question. Did Clara pay taxes on her GoFundMe money? It's a real question. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do that. Could be wrong, and I doubt she did.
That they are real several times. And I don't know about you, but hiring a private
Okay, but the police called her by the wrong name, so she deserves a computer. True, you're right.
investigator so you can confront trolls with bad info doesn't sound like the action of someone in fear of their life. Her messages also contradict a tweet where she says $50,000 was already put into the legal fund. The final thing Clara mentions in that stream clip is using the money to hire a lawyer. What's interesting is that by her own words, she already had a lawyer and was consulting two more. The day
Why do you need that many lawyers?
after the GoFundMe had launched. It was one of her earliest responses to criticisms over reportedly raising her goal.
Yes, I'm using these funds to move. But more importantly, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses. Because I'm not just
once I'm safe. You think that's part of it? She's constantly putting herself in danger. Like she's telling danger, by the way. It's in the fucking air quotes. She's constantly putting herself in danger because she's announcing where she's going over and over and over and over again, which means she'll never be out of danger. So it justifies her continuous use of the money. Maybe. I wouldn't doubt it.
moving. I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer, and I'm consulting with two more.
Wow.
I'm going to get justice for what happened to me, and for every other marginalized person in this country who has been victimized.
Wow, this is so fucking brave. I'm getting so turned on right now.
Legal fees are incredibly
I don't know why I've said these things.
expensive. And I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money because
Please give me more.
I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that.
True, because you don't actually do any regular work. You're just constantly fucking begging people for money. Does she actually, like, how consistently does she put out content?
This is strange in retrospect, as only 12 days later, she made it very clear she was holding off pursuing legal action against the London police.
After it first happened, I was very mad at the police, and I wanted to hold their feet.
But now enough time has passed where I could tell you guys that I'm not as mad, and you'll hopefully accept it because I was never going to sue in the first place.
To the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against my life very seriously, and
Why does she look like a mouse here? What the fuck?
I want to see justice. There's a lot of leads right now, and they might actually be able to catch the person who swatted me. And with what is going on and the connections to Kiwi Farms, knowing that they're monitoring the thread, we might actually see something happen.
Now, at around the same time, she told the Kiwi Farms user the money was in savings. She claimed she never said she was going to sue the police.
I could have swore that she kept saying that. What?
Yeah, that's all I said. I never said that I was going to sue
Actually,
the police.
technically,
I wanted to be very careful with the language
I didn't say I was going to sue the police. I said that I was going to push a lawsuit against the police.
that I used because I don't know exactly what the plan is. I know that I'm eventually going to take legal action in some way or another.
What other way could there be legal action? And if there is another way, all of us think of suing when you hear those words. What other way, what even conceivable way can you press legal action against somebody without fucking suing them? What?
But I don't know yet, and I can't
Okay.
talk about the different things that have been discussed
Yes, you can.
between my lawyer and I.
Now, going back to Destiny's manifesto, this was scrutinized on a much wider scale, which led many to start asking for a breakdown of expenses. Clara refused because I'm not
What is she, the U.S. government? Sorry, that joke made me chuckle for no reason. Because she won't give us a breakdown of her expenses, is the joke.
providing a product to investors. I won't be sharing expense breakdowns. I've been advised by lawyers to keep everything close to vest for legal and safety reasons.
Close to vest,
Clara
brothers.
rebuked that there was a legal fund. She got an apartment and was now processing the entire event. Now, you're probably wondering if
right, mentally processing is very stressful, very upsetting stuff, guys.
she wasn't planning on suing the police. Why did she hire lawyers, and what was the point of the legal fund? Well, if you read between the lines, some of you might be able to infer what actually happened. On October 2nd, 2000,
the police obviously stole her information, and they're blackmailing her. Oh my god! And you know how afraid she is of blackmails. It's fucking crazy, guys. Thank you so much for the 99 cents from Marsan. Dollar, I should say dollar. I feel like 99 cents sounded like I was being rude to you. Thank you.
22, Clara posted a client engagement agreement to prove legal action was underway. If you look at the bottom,
I thought she's not. Hey, with her history of engagement, guys, probably not going to go very well.
You can see the document reads, "We have concluded a review of our records, and we confirm that we have not identified a conflicting interest in representing you in this matter. We searched the following names that you provided to us as being relevant. The terms they searched for were Clara Sorrenti, Kiwi Farms, and KiwiFarms.net. Now this proves
Kiwi Farms dot balls.
She was paying money to consult lawyers about a lawsuit against Kiwi Farms, but not the London police. It's dated August 10th, the same exact day as her stream stating that she'd consulted.
Oh god, guys, you know what that means? That means that the London police were using Kiwi Farms. That's what that obviously that couldn't mean anything else, because she's a very honest person. It means that there's a conspiracy where the London police were actually attacking Miss Sorrenti through the usage of Kiwi Farms. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I fucking, dude, a part of me had like a feeling the whole time that this was true. I just fucking knew it from the start. You know what I mean?
Consulted a lawyer. There isn't actually even a good explanation of why she did this. Kiwi Farms was never mentioned as the intended target of her legal fund. The only entity named in the GoFundMe was the London police. So this took place around the same time she claimed she never intended to sue the police. And if you're wondering why it didn't go anywhere, for as much as people hate Kiwi Farms, the website is entirely legal. There are countless examples of attempted litigation that demonstrate this and why it never actually came to fruition. One thing I also want to address is some people have said, whoa, did you get some of your evidence on the Kiwi Farms? Even if I did, that doesn't make the evidence inadmissible. A lot of the Kiwi Farms evidence is actually cataloged on archive websites that capture a snapshot of a web page and tweets and whatnot.
Yeah, so it might be a shit site, but people are actually using like legitimate, like provable metrics, basically. Yeah, it makes sense. This is like it's you can confirm what they're saying is or isn't true, so you can parse through it even if some of it's incredible.
To ensure that nothing that I'm showing you is actually altered and it was as it was originally posted. This makes the evidence admissible. It's kind of like saying, wow, did you find that perfectly good piece of evidence sitting in the middle of a neo-Nazi compound? Yeah, I trust
Oh yeah, oh wait.
me, I get the whole building.
Oh yeah, I like hanging out there all the time.
Building surrounding it is pretty shitty, but that doesn't mean the evidence is inadmissible. It's still perfectly good evidence. I just wanted to address this point because it's a common deflection and one that I absolutely need to nip in the butt.
Suing Kiwi Farms
You can nip my butt.
was actually something that I previously considered and was consulting with.
Fuck that shit.
I was consulting with lawyers about doing that. And
a lot of lawyer speak here.
Basically came to the conclusion after looking into it that it's not worth it.
A nice outfit.
There's little
something wrong with me.
Can do as a Canadian.
I need my wife to come fucking yell at me.
To benefit from doing a lawsuit against Kiwi Farms. The only possible lawsuit being a defamation lawsuit, which there is little to no benefit for me to do.
3 days
Why?
after posting that letter, Claire admitted on a private stream that she hadn't even started yet.
Well, because you could like specifically identify like one person that did it to you or something? Like, why wouldn't that work?
Her unnecessary traveling is blamed for keeping her busy, which to me is an admission that she wasn't all that interested in consulting her lawyers.
But
No, I mean, if it's her like, dude, she obviously, yeah, no. I couldn't get it done because I was traveling so much. Like, wow, you must take this seriously.
now
Incredible.
I'm going to be focusing more on the legal things because I'm settled down, I'm back in Canada, and I have time to work on this now. Consulted quite a bit with my lawyers, but we, at the time, were, especially during the campaign, basically unsure of how to go forward, especially because my availability was kind of all over the place.
So you hired a lawyer, supposedly, and then you didn't keep up with them and you didn't make yourself available to be able to press action against these horrific institutions that supposedly were going after you? Yeah, believable.
And that's because this will be a very important issue later. She was still in the process of collecting evidence.
But the problem is right now is that I'm still in the process of I have to collect all the evidence. One of the first steps that you need to do is collect evidence. And if you announce prematurely who you are taking legal action against, it gives that party an opportunity to try and destroy as much evidence as possible.
But didn't you do that with the police? Or is she saying that she announced it was against the police to put Kiwi Farms off the trail of thinking that she was actually going after them? Is that the claim? Is that what she's suggesting here?
I'm not even going to publicly comment on the party either.
Now, for this to make sense, you kind of have to assume she wasn't talking about the police. In that case, we already know what proof does or does not exist. Her recount can't be proven, and even if we're to believe her, it's hard to argue the police acted out of prejudice. This is brought up by Nicholas Diorio, who got some interesting answers out of her on stream. The first clip is Clara stating she was still engaged in legal action against the police.
I wasn't aware you were still engaging with legal action of the police.
I am. It's just like... there's been so much shit that happened, and then like immediately after like getting back from everything, I had to move, and I like just got unpacked like 2 weeks ago.
Claire describes specific.
My thing is, why are you talking to these people? Like, it makes you you don't have to talk to them. It's so funny. Like, she goes and then she digs herself a hole by talking to people about these situations. Like, you're getting pressed on stuff that like nobody would really press you on. For what reason? Like, who do you feel like you're vindicating yourself from? It's fucking insane.
Incident in which he was dead named while being put in handcuffs. However, she admits it could have been an honest mistake, and the officer didn't know what a dead name was.
Now, there are questions as to the dead naming taking place. They claim they have no footage of you being dead named once you get back to the precinct, and you claim there was dead naming, so the only time that could have happened is during the swatting itself. Is that still something that you claim?
Yeah, that was something that happened with the constable that arrested me, like when I was actually being put in handcuffs.
Look, I don't have a problem with spicing up the story a little bit, but, and I understand the like how this upset you and your family, but it really does sound like you kind of slandered those cops. Like, I don't
think I slandered them. I mean,
if
like,
we're taking them at face value, right? For that they thought when they were going into your house that they were like potentially dealing with somebody who was planning to shoot up a like public office building or something like that with like politicians, then like it's totally possible that they thought that was your name. Like that you went by that name. So
true, because dudes are always the ones that do be shooting up schools. Am I right, guys? What are you doing?
I know, because the email. Did you read the email?
Yes, I did read
the first sentence of the email is, "My name is Clara Sorrenti."
But then it was signed with your dead name.
It said, "My name is Clara Sorrenti," and then my dead name is blank, and they put the dead name. So they made a decision at that point that they thought that my name wasn't actually my name and dead name was a real name.
Okay, who cares? It seems like we're fucking playing semantics here.
The officer that actually like arrested me said she did not actually know what a dead name was.
Don't call me Anakin Skywalker. That's not my real name anymore.
Now, this is where the story starts to take a very...
That was like the cringiest joke I've ever made in my life. Holy shit.
...drastic turn. In the same private stream, Clara states that she had 2 years to take legal action due to the statute of limitations. Her plan was to start sometime in December or January of 2023.
That makes sense. When you guys, there's some advice to you. When you have only a certain amount of time before you can take action against something, wait until the last second. Great idea.
A timeline.
Typical woman behavior, right?
Of how things are happening. I have a total of 2 years.
What the fuck?
To take legal actions. That's a statute of limitations.
Oh, what the fuck? How do you take that from me?
I want to start before this year ends, ideally. Like, if I can...
Ideally. Okay.
If I can
give yourself a little plausible deniability in case you decide not to actually do that.
Things off in December or in January in the new year, that would be ideal. That's what I want. I talked to my lawyer today.
Hey, talk to my lawyer.
And
yeah, he exists. My lawyer exists, bitch.
It's looking like January is the month where I'm going to be filing against the London Police Service.
Wow.
Once the
can't wait to see it.
Video is out, everyone will know like all of the details of the case going forward. I've already been told that the case that I'm about to start could take up to 5 years.
This never came to fruition with the activist drifting away from politics and stoking the flames of online drama. She started fighting with people like Keemstar in her own community to the point that Drop Kiwi Farms officially denounced her. Her self-destructive behavior drew a lot of concern, which eventually led...
Drop Kiwi Farms denounced her. That's funny. Wow. That's fucking funny.
Led people to discover that she'd actually relapsed into addiction.
Oh, well, she's always been addicted to something. Let's be real here. Attention or something, you know what I mean?
It was leaked publicly on February 19, 2023, and a few days later that Clara admitted herself to inpatient rehab. Now, I'm not here to shame Keffals about her addiction. It's important for people to take recovery very seriously. But the timeline of events also can't be ignored. The relapse occurred after the attempted swatting. Clara says after settling into her new apartment in October, she began drinking excessively. And at the start of 2023, she started doing full-blown Colombian. And I'm not talking about no coffee, boy.
I got really
Okay.
depressed.
I prefer Disney coffee. I don't know why I said that so aggressively.
I lost interest in politics. I lost interest in basically all of the things that
Well, you want to know why she lost interest in politics? Is because politics lost interest in her. Let's be absolutely real. Who's going to her for fucking political advice or commentary, like realistically speaking? I don't even think most of the people that watched her gave a shit about her and politics ever. I mean, has she ever really done politics outside? Like, what has she really done that's like political? She baited a bunch of attention on the internet by acting like a victim, and then what? Where do we go from there? Now that is gone, there's nothing to really stay for. Like, I could see why new people are introduced to Keffals. They see on the outside that a news place reports like, oh, Keffals, trans activist, is under fire. You're like, oh my God, that's terrible. Let me donate money. Let me go check this person out as an individual. And then you see them, you see their commentary, you see them start, causing problems with other people for no reason. And you start to go like, what's up with this person? And you start to burn credibility. And all of a sudden, you're not interested anymore. Maybe you unsubscribe. Maybe you just stay subscribed, but you don't really watch or engage. You just think they're stupid and you think they're boring. That sounds like most of the people, no?
that helped me build a platform in the first place. And around the end of 2022, I started drinking, which made me spiral. It was around the time
well, maybe you shouldn't spin in circles then.
that I was in fights with Keemstar. I started drinking, and then as more and more shit started happening, I started doing cocaine at the start of 2023.
Near the end of the month, she went on an 8-day coke bender before finding out that some of that coke was, I guess, cut with meth.
8 days into a cocaine bender, I found out that the coke that I was doing,
Like from Futurama?
was cut with meth. So for 8 days straight, I was doing coke and meth.
This took place a few days
I prefer Coke and Rem.
after she had said the dreaded R word. Ooh.
Hey, don't say that.
Which she later blamed on
Like faking autism, I think, right?
withdrawals, apparently. Her spiral worsened as she started doing
Wait, the R slur? Or did she say the N word with the hard R? What?
coke, meth, benzos, while attempting to buy H on the dark web.
Started doing
It's crazy because I remember when she was saying like the R slur. And this was like such the weirdest moment. First of all, I don't like the word. You guys know that. I don't particularly care for it. I think it is a slur against people with intellectual development disability specifically. Not a big fan of it. I don't think you're a bad person if you use it. I understand that a lot of people don't put the same value on the word I do. I just like to hope that I can appeal to people to try to add that value to it. It should be as bad as any other slur. But if you're gonna say it, don't just be like, well, I'm autistic, so I can say it, like she did. She's not autistic. Okay, she's just like fucking lying about that. Because I remember she ended up like talking about what she did have, and she never said that she had autism like later on. She can't keep her fucking lies up straight. It's just like, be a fucking adult. If you're gonna just say like a slur, just be like, yeah, I don't care. Okay, fine. At least you're honest about it. But actually, I'm autistic, and no, you're not. Okay, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
coke and meth and benzos, and I was planning on ordering him from the dark net.
After the backlash, Clara went into rehab on February 22nd. In the next few days, I will be admitted to rehab. The doctor said that because of the drugs I'm addicted to, without medical supervision, detoxing will kill me. Now, I'm inclined to believe her on this, given that she didn't return until about a month later. Clara later admitted that she spent more money going to rehab than she ever had on actual drugs.
I was in rehab for 34 days before I discharged. I went to the addiction rehabilitation Toronto facility, and it was one of the best decisions I think I've ever made.
While Addiction Rehab Toronto doesn't have prices listed on their sites, aggregators like Recovery.com price a 30-day stay at the facility at 20,000 Canadian dollars.
What the fuck? That's insane.
And
I'll just go down with the drugs personally. That's fucked up. I'm sorry, I'm kidding.
that is a fourth of the entire dollar amount. It's hard to believe that expense, on top of buying enough drugs to end up there in the first place, had no bearing on how that GoFundMe money was used. One of her mods admitted the habit went a bit into the fund money at the end. However much a bit is, we might never know. Her relapse began right as she was supposed to initiate legal action. That, by her own admission, hadn't even started. Remember, she was apparently collecting evidence to beat the statute of limitations. And after a vacation across Europe, new stream equipment, TwitchCon, hiring a private firm, security firm, and private investigator, consulting lawyers
How firm?
about Kiwi Farms, and paying an entire year's worth of rent because fuck it, why not? She's
Like, why would you even do that in the first place? An entire year's worth of rent for what reason? Take that money and invest it into Bitcoin.
spiral, necessitating a month-long stay at a rehab facility that cost approximately 20K USD. Sorry, hold on a minute. I'm having a little brain fart. Canadian dollars, okay? Big difference. With the latter beginning in the exact time frame she claimed to finally take action.
Is it a big difference?
against London police. Now, of course, there is one last hope for the GoFundMe money going towards anything vaguely resembling those initial stated goals. In April of 2024, Keffals' lawyer, Justin Annisman, filed a complaint against London Police Services.
He's real.
With the Canadian Human Rights Tribune. The application hereby argues she is the victim of discrimination.
Does this potentially reset the statute of limitations that you mentioned? And is that the only reason they did it, was to like push something in there just so that they could reset the statute of limitations, so that they could potentially push a lawsuit further if they wanted to? Because that would kind of make sense to me. Like, oh, that's really the only motivation. I wouldn't doubt that.
By London Police Services, referred to henceforth as LPS. Now, the 5 examples given, 3 of them discuss her dead name being used in their records. This is true, and acknowledged by London Police in their first statement. The complaint further alleges LPS officers used her dead name and gender. During the arrest, this cannot be proven as no body cam footage exists. In a private
Who gives a shit if they dead named her? Like, oh, it's sad. Move on. Holy fuck.
Conversation, she explained pushing body cams was one of her main goals. If I could get one thing from all of this, it would be body cams, since the police didn't even have them in my hometown. There is no evidence where she is well aware of, hence why her last point is actually kind of bizarre. The complaint introduces an entirely new accusation and has somehow gone unmet.
It sounds interesting that to me seems like almost like a walk-off or a goal shift. Like, well, I at least want to get body cams. I almost said body cams. I want a body cams on these people because, you know, they should. You know, police should have body cams. It's a good thing. You know, I think it fosters a safer environment for the police officers and the people that they may be, you know, interacting with. But it feels like a virtue signal, to be honest with you, to you know, lefty politics. Because again, like, lefties love body cams. I love body cams. Put them on, just stream on Twitch. It's a goal. So now she, you know, that's the whole shift is like, well, if I can at least get body cams, like, this could be a really good thing for people. That's what it comes off as to me.
Mentioned so far. Clara alleges that an officer groped her breast and said, "Yeah, it's a she."
Well, I guess her titties are passable then.
The fact that
I don't believe that happened, but
we haven't heard about this before is insane. It completely changes.
Yeah, but you can't tell them all the evidence they have or they'll destroy it.
Changes the narrative. This realistically should have been her leading story, since it's also at gunpoint, apparently. If true,
at gunpoint, they grabbed my titty and they said, "Damn, this bitch got good titties."
Action recontextualizes every claim of dead naming. It also makes her behavior afterward much stranger, given that she seemed to forgive LPS in favor of pursuing action against Kiwi Farms.
Lawyers. Yeah, that's all I said. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I've basically had to make peace with it. Like, after it first happened, I was very mad at the police. And I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them.
The fuck is this thief?
But they've taken the threat against my life very seriously. And I want to see justice.
Now, this is in stark contrast to the reduced feelings and security described by Clara as a result of her inability to trust LPS. This impacted her ability to earn a living. In the 6 months since the events at issue in this application, Ms. Sorrenti has seen a reduction in income of more than 25%. That document further alleges that their treatment of Clara left her unable to leave her home. By the way of example, she feels incapable of leaving her home or socializing productively with friends and family out in the community.
Imagine the police officers had to take this seriously, and they had to like have one of their investigators legitimately watch all her streams so that they can go through this and collect evidence and information to fight against her bullshit claims. Oh, they reduced her income by 25%. But she was telling people everywhere she was going and saying she wanted IRL streams. So they could obviously, if they had somebody investigating her and watching all that old stuff, they could obviously debunk that ridiculous narrative. But then they would have to watch her dog shit. They'd have to watch her fucking terrible garbage content. They have to have somebody, they'd have to waste governmental resources doing that.
Because of a fear that LPS will continue to discriminate against her. This is patently untrue, given that the time frame is when she traveled across the world. It also doesn't make any sense to blame London police for that reduced income. And it only gets crazier when you realize the complaint seeks $125,000 in damages.
Damn, that's 25%. That's $125,000. She's making fucking $500,000 a month? Wow, I believe that.
Accordingly, the applicant seeks the following remedies: a declaration that the LPS discriminated against the applicant contrary to Section 1 of the Code, in order for damages of the injury to applicant's dignity, feelings, and self-respect in the total amount of $75,000, and in order that LPS compensate the applicant for the loss of income suffered and other special damages incurred as a result of the discriminatory plus interest therein in the amount of $50,000. Now, I can't claim to know the intricacies behind the actual lawsuit over here in the Human Rights Tribunal. To be honest, I've tried researching this and I've called around as much as I can, but obviously information on a case, if it's pending and ongoing, isn't going to be shared, nor is a status really something to be handed out about. But at the end of the day, I'm not a lawyer, so me digging into this isn't necessarily going to do much more than you would expect. But that being said, okay, with all of this brought up, this is, I guess, the only last Hail Mary that we have. And if you ask Keffals, the reason they decided to go with the Human Rights Tribunal rather than a lawsuit is because the Human Rights Tribunal has unique powers that a civil suit does not. In Canada, if they were simply to do a lawsuit, all they would get is money. They are apparently pushing for police body cams, which is the complete goal right there. And paper.
I don't think I really believe that. I think that that's almost like that's just like an excuse. I think that she knows she's not going to win any money, so she's like, well, maybe we can get body cams so I can see this as a win. I get to put my name on the fact that we got these police officers actually use body cams. I don't think that that's true. I doubt that she ever wanted to push for that. I just have a hard time believing that these people actually care about the causes that they pretend to care about with the way that they act. So
papers have been processed and they're awaiting dates to appear in the tribunal. And I'm told this could take a minimum of 2 years at best, and 6 years at worst, depending on if this gets escalated to a higher judicial body. So again, I'm not an expert at the HRTO, and this section might be pending, and because Keffals is, I guess, quiet these days, I'm blocked, so I wouldn't really know. There might be updates to this, there might not be, okay? But to end the section off, to recap, Keffals deliberately tried to raise as much money as possible. None of her reasons make any sense. She didn't need to move, and used the money for a vacation in Europe, it seems. She didn't just use the fund for moving expenses, but a full year's worth of rent, something she never said she was
moving up in her brain. Off all that white snow powder, baby.
Gonna do. And as far as we can tell, she had no tangible losses. All of her possessions were returned within days, and the legal fund was for a nebulous lawsuit that has changed targets twice.
And then I imagine if you were actually trying to recoup, like, it would cost more money to sue than it would, like, you wouldn't get the money, as much money back. I guess that's why she's suing for $125,000. I'm sad. I'm upset.
The closest
I need more money.
We saw to any actual legal action was that HRTO complaint, which doesn't even require a lawyer and is completely free. It's unlikely to go anywhere since she apparently has no evidence, no credibility, and seemingly no actual legal standing. Okay, so now that we've covered the swatting and her GoFundMe, let's talk about her campaign to drop Kiwi Farms. An important thing to recognize is that this is a public discussion forum. You can see what people are saying, and that also means it's difficult to prove something was their fault if they didn't brag about it on the site. To be clear, they're not innocent whatsoever. They're not entirely innocent. They collect and organize personal information, and I would never argue that they don't harass people. We can prove Kiwi Farms users don't.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people are going to look at somebody like Keffals and be like, okay, she's a shitty person. She probably deserves it. You know, and like, nobody deserves harassment, but you know, I've said this before, not every cause can be like argued by every single person though. Like, for somebody like Keffals, I mean, like, she's a bad person. Nobody's going to care if something bad happens to her. So she's really not the one to stand up and go, look. And you know what? Maybe that's why they went after her in the first place, because she destroyed her credibility so much they figured nobody's going to give a shit if we fuck with this person, which is kind of true. So
doxed her old house and one of the hotel rooms. However, they weren't the main culprit. There is a completely different site that actually took credit for the harassment that veered into actual criminality. For the sake of not promoting it, we're going to be referring to this website as Website Zero.
Ah, this is the website Zero. No, this is the website I was talking about earlier, where it wasn't actually Kiwi Farms, and it was some other website apparently. But she was so afraid of them that she didn't want to go after them.
Like others have before who've covered this topic. If you've read the thread closely, you'll discover Kiwi Farms users don't find out about the swatting until after her GoFundMe. On August 21st, Clara's Uber Eats account was hacked and she blamed Kiwi Farms. The next day, a post was made on Website Zero taking credit. She showed a receipt for the order as part of the docs. This post also included phone numbers, accounts, addresses, emails, and passwords belonging to Sorrenti, as well as many of her family members. The doc stayed pinned from the date it was created until September the 4th. It was being worked on publicly since March 28th, and with users actively calling for others to track her down. Despite this, Clara continued to blame Kiwi Farms instead for hacking her account, her Uber account.
That's fucking crazy. Wow, what a fucking loser. It's just so funny because I feel like she had to have known from the start that it wasn't Kiwi. I mean, maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't know it was Kiwi Farms from the start. Or maybe she thought it was Kiwi Farms from the start, and she's like, it must be them, must be them, must be them. But I feel like part of her knew, and she was just so afraid of this place that she didn't want to say anything. But she wanted to be the hero. Because Keffals is a hero, you know? At least that's what she wants you to think. And it seems like she wants to frame everything as like, you know, she needs a good enemy that she can actually go against and feel like she can win against and feel like it's not as toxic or harmful.
Even directly calling for Cloudflare to halt services in response to the hack. From here, she makes a decision to move to Northern Ireland to flee online harassment. And it's important to know that Kiwi Farms was down from August 26 to August 29. Website Zero identified her location on August 26th thanks to that doorknob. Keffals blamed the Kiwi Farms, calling...
Bro, what is, you got like a fucking doorknob expert on there? That's like, oh my god, I know that doorknob. That's a 1962 Winchester doorknob. Made of a mixture of brass and aluminum foil. I don't know. I have no fucking idea about doorknobs. How do you find that out?
...them out by name on the 29th. The same day she claimed a Kiwi Farms user had identified her location and threatened to show up. She claimed to have identified the user and forwarded their information to the police. And this is true. If this is true, there's no reason for her to believe this individual had any association with Kiwi Farms. The user had been very active across 4chan and the rest of the internet on a variety of easily identifiable accounts. And they've also explicitly stated that they had no connection with Kiwi Farms. She already knew that this person was from 4chan, even showing the original threads in one of her tweets. When we spoke about his plan beforehand, he left comments on Website Zero, and Website Zero was never mentioned once in her...
Is that what Website Zero is? Like the new place that people on 4chan hang out? Because last time I've checked out 4chan, it's mostly just beheading videos on porn, so...
Clara later claimed that this resulted in another swatting, stating the same thing repeated itself, except Northern Irish police did not put...
Maybe the reason she keeps targeting Kiwi Farms is because she has to like commit to the lost sauce, you know? She has to commit to this specific thing. Like, I have to keep going after, I have to win this, so let's just keep going. Anything that somebody does, I'm going to blame it on Kiwi Farms.
A firearm, did not pull a gun on her. Apparently the police were called to investigate a made-up stabbing. She noted they were very friendly.
This followed me.
What the hell? What's going on there? Sorry. That was rude.
I leave Canada. Now I'm in Northern Ireland. The same thing repeated itself.
Yep.
Except Northern Irish police did not pull a firearm on me. So that's cool. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, no, like someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they're knocking at the door. Like, compared to what happened in Canada when I got like an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing.
Yeah. And they grabbed your boob, remember?
Cops are playing with the cat here.
That's interesting that the Canadians are also so militarized, the police there. I didn't realize.
Police were calm during this incident because Keffals was not swatted. It was a wellness check from someone afraid she was in danger.
Shit. Who cared? Who would have cared enough to call that in, you know?
The person who contacted police reached out to Destiny to explain they were worried about a stalker. They specifically refute the idea they called in a stabbing. On the H3H3 podcast, Keffals stated that the swatting had mentioned a stabbing, but that there were no guns when they visited. This link shows the armed response unit, which is deployed for when someone reports a stabbing in an active situation. There's a picture there that shows a dynamic entry. Someone with Ellen's background wouldn't realize that Northern Ireland does actually have a history of armed violence, and the PSNI response to what that violence is...
Oh yeah, right? Don't they have like fucking terrorist groups there? Right? Or some shit like that?
...is equivalent to
the IRS?
the United States of America. The evidence strongly supports that the story Keffals gave on the H3H3 podcast about being swatted here is utter horseshit. And if you recall, law enforcement began actively investigating the people harassing her. As it turns out, they actually caught them. The harassment was largely perpetrated by a now defunct group on Website Zero known as Vile. Vile docs several...
Why the fuck is the I the only thing that's minimized?
...people related to #DropKiwiFarms, including Keffals and the owner of the DIY HRT directory. This is easily proven as their signature.
I'm honestly surprised that the fucking police officers were able to be effective against online groups. I feel like they trail behind so far when it comes to doing a lot of stuff when it comes to the internet. So I'm genuinely surprised that they were actually to be able to do something effective, honestly.
Signature is present in the pastes themselves. Some of their known techniques include using fake emergency data requests to impersonate government officials. They also use stolen passwords from law enforcement officers to subpoena companies into sharing private information.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
That info was then used for extortion. This criminal activity is only known because 2 members were arrested and charged in March of 2023. Now, while the group is defunct, as demonstrably law enforcement...
So basically like idiots who overextended their fucking, their harassment. Oh, okay. Listen, guys, if you're going to harass somebody, keep it in reason. Just don't do that.
Their job. The important
don't harass people, guys. Okay.
Distinction here, though, is what Vile did was criminal. There is legal recourse for extortion. Amongst the many crimes they committed, Kiwi Farms, on the other hand, is still entirely legal, which is why she has to poison the well against them. Her motivations are especially curious given this DM from August 4th, a day before her swatting, where she flatly stated she didn't want to talk about Kiwi Farms anymore. Later on, Clara admitted she targeted the site not because she was in fear of her life, but because it was opportune timing.
Yep, that sounds about right.
All of us are here talking about like website X. We're all talking about how bad.
It's funny because not a single time have I ever heard anybody leak what it is. I don't want to know what it is, but it's, you know, it's a good thing that they haven't talked about it.
Bad it is, how it's like a secret, how we don't speak the name of it, but everyone knows it and everyone's worried about it. And it's like, it sounds like the perfect website for a campaign for them to get dropped by their fucking service provider. Like, this is what I'm saying.
I don't think the momentum is there for that though.
Wouldn't you create the momentum there for that? Wouldn't you be like, these guys are the real meanie boys? Are you like, I don't understand. She's more interested in a performative win than actually going after the supposed like terrible website. I don't really understand.
Like with the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, it was just really opportune timing. I had all this media attention on me, and journalists were like following every fucking thing I said and did. And I didn't even know about the second website until they went after me.
Yeah, but when you describe it as like a worse version of the same website, but whoa, please don't talk about it. That's crazy.
Well,
it's very revealing that when a site exists embodying the very thing she accuses Kiwi Farms of doing, her reaction is completely different. While it's reasonable to not want others to find it, that doesn't justify blaming Kiwi Farms for the actions of another separate community.
Well, I don't think that she cares. I think it's all about, like, she looked good to the public going after this website. That does not act very well. Kiwi Farms seems to be like shit. And that's it. So, but it's like the easy battle. I think that she's just taking the easy fight, right?
It's her refusal to acknowledge the actions of Website Zero as the actions of Website Zero that necessitates its mention. When asked, she fails to address this in a satisfying way.
Question, Keffals, to you. So basically,
Keffals,
if there's another website that's doing things as malicious or more malicious than the Kiwi Farms post, I'm wondering, like, why not draw attention to that website in particular if they seem to be more inherently dangerous?
I don't think they're more inherently dangerous.
I mean, clearly they are if nobody's mentioning them.
They also don't have as many active users because the people who, on the other side, the people who do it, they're more technically skilled in what they do. But also because they had more extensive...
Sounds like a cool kids club. All Ks. I don't know. But it sounds like these people are a little more serious.
Documentation of my family, and I didn't want to put that out there. I think that's reasonable, right? Like, I don't want my family to get hurt.
Sure, if you don't want your family to get hurt, that's fine. But the opposite of what you're saying right now was your justification as to why you have to go after Kiwi Farms. Like, this place is doxing you. This person's posting tons of your information.
Why do you defend Kiwi Farms so much? I think
it makes you...
I mean, it's a pretty basic point. You're saying that Kiwi Farms is super dangerous and they're going after you, so they're going back after them. So why won't you do this? Keep the same energy for this place.
Wonder if she wasn't willing to go after this.
You could just say, like, I'm more afraid of them, and it's like, okay, at least you're being honest.
Site because she was actually afraid. Why did she target Kiwi Farms in the first place? Why continuously lie about the site being down to your followers? Why accuse anyone with genuine criticism of you as having used the site? Is there something that she was trying to hide? So,
her penis. Wait, what? What was she trying to hide?
47 minutes in, you probably know that I have to address the big, massive elephant in the room, okay?
Yeah, this is what kind of started the whole thing, right? Didn't Mudahar like kind of find out about this, and he was like, "Oh shit, I think it's time for me to look into this sussy baka," you know? He probably wouldn't say that because that was a little cringe, but
Important here's a who, boyos. The reason for this is because I don't even think we can begin to have this conversation without showing now definitively that Keffals, as a narrator, cannot be trusted. The conversation surrounding the subject...
She doesn't really have a very nice voice anyway, so not a very good narrator. Personally, I think I could be a better narrator. I'm just saying, I have a nice voice, I think, you know?
Has been intentionally warped and obfuscated. And even questioning it will get you labeled a transphobe, okay? And I'm not a transphobe, I'm bringing this up, okay?
I'm not afraid of them. I just jack off to them.
Very, this is a minefield I'm walking in, okay? When we talk about the harassment from Kiwi Farms, it can't be understated that they are transphobic. It's true. There is truth to the idea they'll call just about anyone a groomer just because that they are trans. However, this has allowed Keffals to absolve herself of responsibility of her own actions and pretend as if there's nothing she has personally
I just got a big crit roll.
done for people to distrust her character. Not only that, but she'll discredit any criticism by associating it with Kiwi Farms, the big bad farms. At the end of the day, if documentation exists, then regardless of that source, it speaks for itself. Keffals will hide behind her identity as a shield.
Oh, yeah, 1000%. She's fucking insane when it comes to that. 100%.
Anyone who brings up her genuinely questionable behavior as pedo-jacketing. In reality, this is little more than an excuse to avoid accountability. And it's finally time to talk about do-it-yourself hormone.
Yeah, she even went into the whole... Didn't she do that whole thing with, like, Vosh and Ethan? Too? Like, with the whole the whole pedo-jacking thing where they'll call... trying to hide behind that, too. As like her criticism. You can't say that to me because transphobic people will call me a groomer and blah, 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 because they'll do that to trans people, which they will. Transphobic people will do that. So that's why you can't insinuate that looking at fucking drawn child like CP is bad. It's fucking crazy. She's actually a genius.
And Catboy Ranch. In June of 2022, Claire began sponsoring the DIY HRT directory. For a mere...
Just like why? Listen, I understand, because here's the argument that's going to be made. They're going to say, listen, I want to advocate for, in some capacity, like DIY hormones And the reason is because it can be difficult for people to get diagnosed in, especially southern states. That's fair. And I understand that and I get it. But at the same time, my understanding is that like young people had very easy access to this and she was aware of it. And it was like she even mentioned like advocating for it to younger people. And that's just extraordinarily inappropriate. There are people who are kids who are diagnosed with gender dysphoria and it is like real. If you talk to any trans person that's an adult, they knew since they were a kid. But that doesn't mean that every kid that thinks that they might have gender dysphoria has it. There are some people who are confused and they're upset and they don't know what's going on with them in their life, and they look online at resources and they self-diagnose because it sounds right? Like, what are some of the comorbidities for somebody with gender dysphoria? Well, it's like anxiety, depression, things like this are part of it. Anxiety that people, might find out about you because like society can be very hateful, and being depressed because you don't feel like you're living your own truth. But what else does like comorbidities of this anxiety and depression? A lot of things, right? And so this is why you shouldn't be giving kids the access to being able to do this. It's good to advocate for the ability to get some kind of diagnosis for this. And when I mean kids, I mean like more teenagers. But my point is that like you have to be extraordinarily careful. You have to be extraordinarily careful because you could put a lot of people under a lot of harm. Young people are stupid. Adults are stupid too, frankly. But young people are stupid. They don't really know what's going on with them, and they need the help of like a legitimate mental health professional to help them, just to help them in general. You can't be diagnosing yourself. You can't make those types of decisions for yourself. Even adults can't self-diagnose. You need to be very careful.
For reasons, hormone replacement therapy is often inaccessible to many trans people. The directory intends to teach people how to, quote unquote, safely obtain HRT without a prescription. While some are legitimate pharmaceutical-grade medications, simply imported from other countries, the site also offers a number of homebrew sources. They are colloquially referred to as bathtub estrogen, in reference to the actual practice of brewing your own HRT. This guide in particular...
You guys remember the movie where they did like a murder on the dance floor? I forget what it's called. There was some bathtub testosterone in there. If you remember that scene. Is
linked to Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, which is also listed on the directory.
Oh, Domo Arigato.
Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals is extremely controversial, for reasons that will become very self-apparent. The packaging is covered in sexualized depictions of young boys cross-dressing.
Ew, what the fuck? Why would you ever want to... What the fuck? That's where that came from. I remember seeing that, like, I think in Willie Mack's video. That's fucking disgusting. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Again, I have to blur this out because it is actually a violation of YouTube's TOS, with text on the box that reads, "Keep out of reach of parents." It's disgusting and...
That's fucking crazy. They were working with them. That's fucking insane.
Clearly falls under the category of Shota or Loli, which Keffals has given her own opinion of in the past.
If you hold on, oh yeah, she did, and then she
clearly falls under the category.
And then she changed that because Vosh.
Shota or Loli.
If you like lolly, you like drawn child beep, which means you like child beep, and RH beep. This shouldn't be a controversial opinion. Well, why don't we just ask Keffals of 2024 that question again?
Which Keffals has given her own opinion of in the past. It's already questionable to endorse what are effectively unregulated drugs. It's even worse to explicitly advocate for their use by minors.
Absolutely.
Keffals bragged about donating thousands of dollars a year to the site to help people get access to HRT before the age of 18. She said, "I do not give a single shit what you think. I am doing nothing wrong, nor will I ever back down." The
How this is a real question. How aware of the specifics of this website was she? Because if she didn't have like, and I'm sure that this will be addressed, but if she didn't know the specifics about it and she just thought it was like some kind of like place that you could get hormones from if you're somebody who was needs to self-diagnose or wants to self-diagnose because you can't get access in your state. I mean, that's not as bad as if she knows about them explicitly selling this like disgusting shit to kids, like explicitly marketing to kids.
Directory was even added as a link to her website with an accompanying chat command. By then, she was marketing her community as a safe space for teenagers. As a former trans kid who...
What the fuck?
Command. By then, she was marketing her community as a safe space for teenagers. With an accompanying
all the
chat
information you need.
By then, she was marketing her community as a safe space for teenagers.
So just to be clear, having a safe space for trans teenagers isn't necessarily advocating for them to get like bathtub HRT, we'll say, but let's see more.
As a former trans kid who is now a trans adult, I want to say to all the young trans people who follow me...
Why the fuck do you... What do you... Like, he's just like, whoa, I just hit something and I fucked myself over entirely. He just like stopped reading it. I think he like the editing.
Marketing or community
The editing got a little weird for him.
is a safe space for teenagers.
When I was covering it on stream, as a teenager from Texas in chat said when the ban on people under 18 receiving gender from a cure happened, he used this directory to continue medical transition. This is a path forward to help kids. I don't know. That makes me a little uncomfortable. Well, let's just say that's true, because I don't know. I can't really fucking believe anything this fucking person says, but let's say that's true. To me, I don't know, man. I would be hesitant about advocating for drugs to kids, even in the instance where they were diagnosed those drugs before some kind of a ban. But at the very least, this shows that she's aware that some of these go to young people. I just think that that's just so much irresponsibility. I don't think I don't know, man. I don't know.
As a former trans kid who is now a trans adult,
we want grandchildren. Best you'll get if it's which says okay.
I want to say to all the young trans people who follow me, I love you. I care about you, and I will fight for you. We will win. There is hope for people like us in this world. They cannot and will not keep us down. I have no opposition to providing safe access to HRT for trans people who need them, right? That's just a thing. If doctors can come in and there's a way to safely do it 100%, get the proper people involved, not me, not Keffals the activist, both of us are clearly not doctors, sure. But
well, you look a lot. You do look like a doctor. I've seen a lot of people that look like you be doctors, so let's be...
It is dangerous to condone questionable individuals with shady histories like Keffals and deceitful messaging to illicitly offer these treatments online, especially to minors. The directory was created by...
Yeah, you know, I don't know so far how much she's explicitly trying to get kids to use this, or, you know, it doesn't seem as insidious from her than I had once thought, or originally thought, unless there's more in here that would show that. I still think it's inappropriate, though.
By an individual known as Bob Posting, or Chloe. Chloe and Clara have a long history of friendship together. Chloe thanked Keffals for her sponsorship and even got brought on stream to promote the site. She would reply to Clara on Twitter, 1,000 minors on HRT. Her associate...
Okay, what? That's... what the segment is that? That's a little bad there. I don't know.
Association sparked backlash after people began to notice her bizarre fixation on secretly sending HRT to minors.
Pink pilling minors is based. Actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. What is pink pilling? What is pink pill? Okay, this is not... What is... it? Pink pilling is used as a transphobic idea, suggesting that straight cis men are indoctrinated into being trans. Oh. Yeah, you probably shouldn't be using that type of language there. It's going to make people think you're legitimately grooming minors. That's, this person. What the fuck? That is, listen, trans people are not groomers. This person, though, might be... Pink pilling? Your best argument is you're joking, but what the fuck? What the flimp?
I've unironically helped like a half a dozen minors acquire bathtub estrogen. No one tell them I've helped more than one minor order. I don't groom children. I just show dozens of kids every week how to buy bathtub estrogen with cryptocurrency and how to hide it from their parents. What are you talking about? The directory does, in fact, take cryptocurrency, and at one point even instructed minors on how to...
Did Keffal, I feel like it's hard to say that she wouldn't have known about this, right?
...to buy Bitcoin. If you're a minor, get a trusted adult to purchase Bitcoin for you, or go to your local BTC ATM.
Incredible.
Chloe has also referenced minors in relation to an act known as pink pilling, the act of convincing someone that they are trans on multiple occasions. Pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors, and by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out.
It sounds, I don't know. They shouldn't be reaching out to you. And, okay, so there's two scenarios that could be happening here. Scenario number one, people are reaching out to this person and they're convincing them that they're trans because they want to make more people trans or something. I don't know. Number two, people are reaching out and they're helping them find resources, minors, and they're helping them find resources, so they think that what they're doing is like okay or appropriate because, like, you know, they came to me and asked first. Either way, you really should not be having conversations about mental health disorders like this and finding self-treatment when you're clearly not diagnosed through fucking strangers on the internet. The only person that could talk about that is a doctor, mental health professional. This is pretty fucked up. This is definitely bizarre.
So when this was brought to the public's attention, several changes to the site were made. They removed Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals and implemented a site-wide age warning. This
Wow. About time, huh?
seems to contradict their explicit advocacy for minors to use the site. 2 days later, Chloe announced she would no longer be involved in the directory. Keffals similarly distanced herself.
Well, I mean, originally the other people might have been more well-meaning, but that were trying to be like, oh, when I was a kid, I wish I had access to HRT, and this would be a way to help minors get it. Even though I think that's irresponsible. Like if an older trans person, I could see why they might feel that way, even if it's irresponsible. But this other person is a very poor representation of the trans community. It sounds like they're legitimately trying to get kids that are just confused, diagnosed. What the fuck? Oh, sorry, like a right text. Trying to, like, it seems like it's not unreasonable to be like, this person seemed to be somebody who's like getting in contact with potentially confused minors and trying to help them get medical treatment, hormone replacement that they aren't even diagnosed for. So it's pretty fucked.
And her sponsorship vanished. She has tried to downplay her accusation ever since, and this is what she had to say earlier this year when questioned about the directory. I gave a wiki site $500 a month, and they put my website link in the banner. This was the extent of my involvement. I have never produced or distributed or even purchased DIY hormones. I didn't sell anything to trans minors, and I wasn't involved in production or distribution. Claire didn't
at least she's smart enough to disavow this.
just endorse it. She was friends with the creator who openly gloated about pink pilling minors.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that you're friend with the creator, but you didn't really know what was going on there, girl. It's a little sussy-wussy.
Even joked about it with Clara on stream.
I saw.
Oh my god.
I wanted you on the stream because I have a lot of trans youth who watch the stream, so you gotta, like, chill your pink pilling stuff.
Oh my god. Chill the pink pill. Wow. Okay.
Wow, I have the perfect resource for you. So
yeah, it's called jail. It's the fucking resources.
I am pretty well known for those who don't know. People know me for like being knowledgeable about DIY HRT and how to access DIY HRT. And so I have a site which people are already sending a link in chat is diyhrt.github.io. If the mods want to like plug that would be amazing. And
so while Chloe has since
listen, if I'm being extraordinarily charitable, and I have to be, I like to try to do that. Sometimes you guys yell at me, but you know what? If I'm being very charitable, you can give Keffals a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. There might be more context here that I don't know, but that she's too online meme based, and she's just being stupid and being like, oh, pink pill, like she's using meme language when she means well. Maybe it's possible. But just to be absolutely clear, this is by no stretch of the imagination a responsible way to go about this, and you shouldn't be an activist if you're doing to do this kind of stuff. So, okay. Yeah, so somebody just messaged me in World of Warcraft. They said, I'm trans and fat. Papa Gut, send me WoW Gold. Incredible stuff. Level 4 Paladin Lubber. Thank you for them. Thank you for that, brother.
It's disappeared from the internet. There was actually a new development. It was discovered that shortly after retiring, she was convicted for robbing a bank in 2020.
Based alert.
On February 14, 2020, on about 7:18 a.m., an individual wearing a surgical mask walked up to the counter at the Scotiabank branch.
Oh my god, you're even going to wear a mask to a goddamn robbery? You're already being dangerous. What the fuck?
Located at and handed a note.
Oh, you're drunk at a wedding? What's going on, brother?
To a teller. It read, "This is a robbery. You are not in danger. Call the police 30 seconds after I leave the door. Give me all your money. No bug money." The robber handed the teller a box. The teller placed cash in the box, and the robber then left the bank with the box of cash. The teller locked the door and told her manager what happened. The police were called. This individual was identified by police as Chloe. The teller placed a GPS tracker device hidden beneath four.
Hey, don't give me any of that sussy money. Wow, they lied to this. That's transphobic for them to give them a bug.
Between $4 for $20.
Do you guys agree?
Bills. And when she discovered this, she tried to hide it beneath some snow. It was quickly found, reported
What kind of snow, Chloe?
to police, and they retrieved $5,190 in cash. And Chloe was convicted in 2020.
How much?
Found, reported to police, and they retrieved $5,190 in cash.
That's it? $5,000? That's all she stole? Oh my god.
Chloe was convicted in 2023. Though currently her sentence is unclear, the Criminal Notebook, a free resource on Canadian criminal
At least she wasn't arrested for some kind of other weird kid shit, you know, dude?
the law, says the average sentence
my
in Alberta
God.
for this exact type of crime is 4 years and possibly a fine. And while it's unclear who owns the directory now, it's still around to this day. In fact, they recently added back Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, Jesus.
In fact, they even added back that filthy Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, clearly waiting
Damn, bro, you editor drunk?
for that public backlash to
I don't know why I'm saying that. I don't have an editor. I'm fucking lazy.
die down.
That's fucking crazy. That's this website is an actual threat to kids and like people. It's one thing like and at this point all plausible deniability is gone. You can't say like, "Oh, you know, we didn't really look too much into it. It was kind of like an oversight issue, yada yada yada." You guys pulled it down and waited for the backlash to go away, and you put it right back up. I mean, it sounds like this website is less interested in helping people and more interested in, I don't know. This is a degenerate website that's going to give transphobes every excuse to be transphobic. Because you have DIY or whatever, HRT, that has pictures of young kids on it transitioning. Yeah, man, that's fucking disgusting. This is insane. And the video still has 20 minutes left. It's fucking wild.
Needless to say, everyone involved in this entire situation has exhibited suspicious behavior at best. So, one surprising development that actually kicked in while I'm sitting in my hotel room right now is apparently one of the actual pharmaceutical groups that was listed on the DIY HRT directory, vanapharma.com, which, by the way, ships domestically only within the United Kingdom, accepts cryptocurrency only, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that sounds really legitimate.
Has actually been hit with a pretty bad letter in this regard.
Ooh,
so, for
what, like the letter Z? I don't get that letter.
This is from the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency in the United Kingdom, and if we look closely over here, you can see that we investigate the criminal supply of illegal medicinal products, and during one of our investigations, the following domain name has come to our attention: vanapharma.org. Internationally, every jurisdiction has its own law, blah, 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 blah. So what they actually were hit with over here, the violations, is Regulation 46, where a person may not sell or supply, or offer to sell or supply a medicinal product otherwise than in accordance with the terms, okay? And of course, Regulation 214, which is a person may not sell or supply a prescription-only medicine except in accordance with a prescription given by an appropriate practitioner. And of course, Regulation 2...
Well, I mean, it's good that somebody finally fucking caught on to this, because this had to have been illegal from the start.
279, which is a person may not publish an advertisement for a medicinal product unless one of the following is in force of the product. So yeah, they got hit with something, and again, before anybody in their camp says whatever they were doing with the DIY HRT directory was legal, this is a clear example of how what they were doing was actually not, and it required governmental intervention, and this is a clear example of government regulation kicking in and proving that what they were doing wasn't exactly above board. And it's understandable.
Well, good. I mean, hopefully that protects some confused people that are not getting diagnosed before they get medical treatment.
Why many would be dubious of their intentions.
They also say, I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to
Is this about to make Ethan look bad?
hormones. You are telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones.
I don't know how to make whore-made hormones either, dude. I don't use whores.
I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
Keffals calls anyone who questions
me when I'm pink pilling. Keffals, unironically, is the type of person that you really just cannot talk to, unless you know everything about their history, because they will unashamedly lie about everything about their life, just to try to, you know, they don't have any shame in lying. Like they're a bad person. There's legitimately no reason to talk to her in any productive way. You can't have a friendship with her. You can't have a productive conversation with her. You can't change her mind, because she doesn't want her mind to be changed. She's a loser. There's no productive conversation that's going to be able to happen from this person. Like that, to me, that's a fact. Like, there's no reason to talk to this person. They have no interest in being, like, you know, a productive member of anything. Wow, I'm getting fucking dumpstered on right now.
Her behavior, past or present, transphobic, accusing her critics of pedo-jacketing and groomer libel. When Ethan Klein called her out for defending Bosch's horse folder, she poisoned the well.
Hey, how many times do I have to say? Vosh doesn't like youngsters, okay? All right? He just thinks it makes the horse's wiener look bigger. Do you guys not understand that? How the fuck do you get this as a pet? Like, it's like you guys want me to die right now. Fuck. It's like you guys like are trying to take it out of context. It's so obvious, dude.
You had me on your show and called me a hero for fighting against a far-right stalking forum that made multiple people themselves. Now you are using out-of-context clips sourced from the same website to attack people. What's truly disgusting about this is something like pedojacketing actually can be a real problem. It would be dishonest to act like baseless accusations of pedophilia against the LGBT community don't actually exist.
Yeah, every time like a fucking trans person exists, they're called a groomer, right? But she's hiding behind that. She's hiding behind this. She's hiding behind her trans identity.
But once again, Clara uses all of this to avoid accountability for her own actions. Clara, Keffals, your identity is not a shield from criticism, okay? Every time you do this, you actually throw the entire community you're supposed to be advocating for under the fucking bus. And that takes us to the tale of Catboy Ranch.
Ooh, I thought that was Catboy Ranch. Is this going to be another smoking gun?
For the longest time, Keffals used to block anyone who referenced Catboy Ranch. It was actually mentioned in the letter that caused her initial swatting. But journalists declined to include it. Clara later used this to justify why no one should look into it. When I was swatted...
It's legitimately incredibly fucked up. When I was swatted, the swatter mentioned Catboy Ranch and was giving children Catboy collars in the email where they impersonated me and said that they were going to shoot up a city hall. It was like Kiwi Farms. Okay, interesting.
The swatters mentioned Catboy Ranch and giving children Catboy collars in an email where they impersonated me and said...
Ethan got lucky with the whole Vosh thing because he got to call out Vosh and then Keffals went to defend him and he got to basically call out Keffals, which pretty much disavows anything that he's ever talked about her beforehand. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't like Keffals at all. Any like positive interview that we had, which I remember watching that interview too, and I didn't think it was that bad. I guess I was also somebody who fell for, Keffals' campaign of lying, we'll call it. But now he gets to be like, oh, this is like, look at this person's a fucking degenerate, basically, you know?
That they were going to shoot up City Hall. It was all Kiwi Farms misinformation. Now H3H3 fans are regurgitating it. The problem with this argument is that ultimately the documentation speaks for itself. Nothing on Kiwi Farms should
he's got some heartburn like me, brother.
Actually be taken at face value, which is why they find it so important to archive everything. That ensures that the original source exists and allows you to verify the information for yourself. With how much misinformation and perhaps disinformation has been
disinformation is intentional misinformation, just for you guys, so you guys know.
Spreading about what Catboy Ranch really is, it's about time we look at the facts and try to understand what it actually was. When I first mentioned the subject on Twitter, she posted a link to the supposed Discord in question. By the way, the server is still up. That is not the original Catboy Ranch server. In fact...
Oh shit, she made a new Catboy Ranch. This is getting fucking saucy, baby. I'm getting horny. Stop it.
It was created in response long after, in June of 2023.
So she made a new fake Catboy Ranch, and this is just me assuming, to try to throw people off the scent of her original Catboy Ranch.
The story of the actual Catboy Ranch server starts with a Twitter account she owned by the same name. It was created in 2020.
By Nathan Fielder.
The plan? To create a Twitter meme page directed at femboys so I can herd them all into my ranch.
Is this supposed to be like her idea of a joke?
It was somewhat gimmicky with close ties to Vosh's community. Most of the posts were submissions made by either Clara...
Why is this like something that people, even if it's a joke, and I don't know how much of it is or isn't, we'll find out soon, but even if it's just a joke, why is this what gets you going in like your private time? Fake Discord meme servers and Twitters. Like, watch a fucking TV show or something. Go study. Read a book. Like, this is the most productive usage of your time you feel? That's what it called. Like, what? It just seems fucking ridiculous.
Her friends or people in her DMs. And the page was overtly sexual. And she did public calls for submission or people in her DMs. And the page was overtly...
Men's rights to be submissive, incredible.
Sexual.
Ask us how we do it, and that's a patented secret.
And she did public calls for...
Catboy ass. Self-fulfilled needs, incredible.
For submissions and invitations. Okay. Like this tweet if you want to...
Is that a Stolfo?
Be added to the Catboy
I don't know who that is.
Ranch group chat. It was by any metric.
Well, you know what? It's not so bad as long as no minors get access to this. As long as there are no minors. As long as no minors get access to this page, we're okay.
And adult space, with pornographic art posted on the account and used as the Discord banner. There are endless, and I mean endless, tweets that are very explicit in nature.
Well, thank God there are no minors in this group.
For example, my biggest regret about getting bottom surgery is that I never had the chance to in a Catboy. I'm coming out as someone who...
what's the point, Keffals? You know what I mean? Like, what do you... I don't know. I don't understand. Why get rid of the pee-pee? Isn't that like that's like the whole fun, right?
Likes to get their prostate slammed and or slamming someone else's prostate. I really wish I was for Catboy until he starts crying right about now.
Wow, incredible. That's sexual assault, sir. Ma'am, sorry.
8,000 followers by early 2021. It was around this time her page got.
Well, you know, pages like this definitely couldn't attract some of the most degenerate people on the internet. That's the good news for this, just so you're aware.
Marked as being adults only. A recurring theme throughout her post was the idea. This time, her page got marked as being adults only.
Okay, well, at least it was marked adults only.
A recurring theme throughout her post was the idea of ownership, which is when things get really strange as we approach the Discord server. The Catboy Ranch Discord was created in December of 2020. Within 3
Well, I want to see the description.
things get really strange as we approach the Discord server. The Catboy Ranch Discord was created.
This is an openly LGBTQ-friendly server with a very supportive community for either playing games or just talking to friends. Please join and meet new people and talk. Okay, so it sounds innocent.
Created in December of 2020, within 3 weeks the server amassed over 650 members, partially because she promoted it under her viral tweets. While it doesn't appear any archives of the chat exist, what is public has raised a lot of eyebrows.
Remember that time at Keffals ran Catboy Ranch and had a bunch of under 18 Twitter femboys get collars with the name on it? How do they know they're under 18?
At one point, Clara shared photos of 2 collars given to members of the Discord.
Well, why? This is weird in general, but okay.
Clearly engaging in some form of roleplay. These individuals
What the
are
fuck
adults,
is this?
and I'm not alleging otherwise. My point is that it's clearly a space for adults, and minors should have been kept away as far as possible.
I agree with that.
Keffals has reiterated that the server has explicitly 18 plus and required photo ID to join.
Okay. I was about to say, like, that's the best way to do it, is to make it photo ID to join, and if you don't have a photo ID, you can't join.
However, she also stated that photo ID was only required for the not safe for work section.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I like that, though. I mean, it shouldn't be in there in general. I feel like, I don't know, man, if you got like an NSFW section, I don't know. All right, well, let's see where it goes.
These are two very contradicting statements. And ignoring the fact that she shouldn't have been interacting with minors on Twitter either, Win, also known as @FemGirlVR, was followed by Clara on both of her accounts. On September 28, 2021, Clara replied to Win calling her very cute. A month later, Win tweeted at Clara complaining she couldn't post nudes because she was 15. Then in November, Catboy...
What the fuck?
A month later, Win tweeted on Twitter either. Win, also known as @FemGirlVR, was followed by Clara on both of her accounts.
Heck yeah, I have 2 Keffals follows. Hey, I'm not that cool. Don't worry about it, lol.
On September 28, 2021, Clara replied to Win calling her very cute.
You're very cute. I've never seen you get into drama before. What are you talking about? I mean, there was that one time.
A month later, Win...
Luckily, I'm 15, so I can't do that. Is that real, or are they memeing? Who'd like to comment?
Tweeted at Clara complaining she couldn't post...
Following trans women on Twitter feels like a time bomb that I have no idea but eventually I see their entire ass naked on my timeline.
...was nudes because she was 15. Then in November, Catboy Ranch replied to Win, acknowledging her age.
You are 15, your skull hasn't even fully developed. Oh my god. Isn't Clara Catboy Ranch?
You are 15, your skull hasn't even fully developed. Win later proclaimed herself a proud member of the cult of Keffals. I just can't get over how much hope you give me. I should be able to start HRT before I'm 16 or once I'm 16.
What the fuck? Oh my god. So she should have unfollowed her and banned her immediately. What the fuck?
Just knowing that there's the potential I could pass like you does give me hope to keep going.
Like, get a fucking legitimate diagnosis. Oh my god. What if this person isn't even trans and they're just like obsessed with fucking Keffals? Or maybe they get it legally. I should be able to start HRT before I'm 16 for once. I don't know. Hopefully they do it legally and the right way and they actually have a diagnosis. Jesus Christ. Why are you following this person?
Thank you. Maya, or Femboy Mats, is another minor Clara interacted with on Twitter.
Like, it would be one thing if you talked to them just like on regular Twitter, not on your Catboy Ranch account, but like once they found out that, like, they shouldn't even be in the server.
Claimed to have been a member of the Catboy Ranch Discord whilst underage. Maya said, "Hey, I'm the person involved. There was no grooming." Someone replied, "Who said there was? You were still a minor in Catboy Ranch, which had ID verification." Maya then confirms that only the NSFW sections did.
All right, I guess, okay, let's see where it goes.
Maya was 16 years old when she began interacting with Keffals. 5 days after she turned 17, Clara replied to her selfie with a meme. "Damn ya ass fat, what's your pronouns?"
Okay, why? Okay, all right.
Clara later tweeted a meme at Maya about taking estrogen.
I'm drunk and not following a meme. Okay.
And getting erections.
Wow. Okay. Good job, Clara. Clara Bear Ding Dong.
In one thread, Catboy Ranch interacts with both Maya and Princess Emily, who was 15 years old. Now, these are highly inappropriate interactions for someone to engage in on their adults-only account at the age of 27.
I was about to look up, like, how old is Clara? Jesus Christ.
And this is only
like, you're old enough to know better here. What the fuck?
what we're able to see publicly. It's also worth noting Maya has since argued in favor of underage people lying about their age to people online. Maya
when I was listen, I just saying I lied about my age when I was 15 on the internet because I wanted to blank with people. So there's a pretty high chance that a lot of other people are doing the same thing. The person looks and acts like a 15-year-old. Are they advocating for that?
Has since argued in favor of underage people lying about their age to people online.
Well, that doesn't sound like they're in favor of lying for people underage. It sounds like they're saying that they used to do it, but maybe they kind of are. I mean, like, a lot of people have done that, usually, especially women. They're fucking weirdos. That's like, my wife talks to me. Well, I guess they don't actually catfish necessarily. It's just that they'll talk to, like, older guys on, like, fucking Omegle and stuff. You know, guys, you got to do better. But girls, stop putting yourself in harm's way, idiots. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ.
Maya turned 18th in January of 2022 and made an NSFW account to post nudes 3 months later. Now, this is where the story gets even darker, because we have to look at Maya's interaction with another user named Danny. Username is SynthIsHere. Danny publicly bragged about getting Maya on DIY HRT when she was a minor. About to start bragging.
Oh my God. You groomed me so hard.
That I got Maya on HRT when she was a minor. Maya began ordering from Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals a month after turning 17.
That's the fucking femboy one? Oh my God.
I'm about to take the pink pill, still cis though. This all was with assistance from the DIY HRT directory. A year later, she was so unhappy with her results, she actually called out and blocked Chloe on Twitter. What happened? She got pissed about her hormone results? I mean, that wouldn't be Chloe's fault because that's not something she can control. Everyone reacts differently.
Well, I mean, that's why you're not supposed to... I mean, like, if she's getting the... if she's getting the medication, the HRT on the internet, that means that she didn't get a formal diagnosis. So, like, that's the problem. You're helping somebody who is probably not trans get hormone replacement therapy when they shouldn't have access to it because they're probably not trans. Who would have fucking... Who would have thought?
Differently to that stuff. Also, there's different dosages. The two would end up having an argument about the specifics of HRT. Chloe calls Maya an idiot, and Maya says this: fuck DIY, fuck all of this. I don't know how this happened. My regimen didn't change since my last test. I am so done with listening to these quacks online who pretend that they're better than actual doctors. As Maya herself stated, these people are not doctors. And someone like Chloe should not be allowed to posture herself as some kind of authority on the subject. No one without any proper credentials should. Not me, not Chloe, not Keffals, not anyone. Maybe it would be less of an issue if everyone involved in the situation was a legal adult. But as we've demonstrated in the last 5 minutes, they are not. Clara explicitly advocated for the DIY HRT's directory's use by minors, while clearly aware of her friend's activities, behaviors, and history. That only compounded by her constant lies surrounding Catboy Ranch, when even what we can prove already paints an incredibly unsavory picture. There is simply no good...
Yeah, I mean, Keffals, the most charitable interpretation that you can have of Keffals at this point is that she's extraordinarily... she has extraordinarily boundary issues. And she's incredibly immature. That's the most charitable aspect of it. You could chalk it up to, like, that's the best thing that you could come up with. The worst thing is that she's like a legitimate, groomer. But, like, if you want to be charitable, it's like she's a really fucking stupid person with massive boundary issues that shouldn't have had Catboy Ranch open up to anybody under an age if they're going to have NSFW, shouldn't be endorsing explicit DIY hormones, none of this. I'll give her the potential benefit of the doubt, you know what I mean? Investigator, that's what you really should do with it. Police. But is that she was a young person who was trans, and so she might feel like, oh, I'm just helping trans youth get access to medications like I was able to get access to as well. That's the most charitable interpretation. And it backfired because she's a fucking idiot that doesn't realize that not everybody has gender dysphoria. Just because you're a young person that doesn't have a gender dysphoria diagnosis doesn't necessarily mean that you are supposed to be trans. Like, just because if you're 14 online, you're like, I'm trans, but my doctor won't diagnose me. That doesn't make you right? Like, not every instance of a young person not having access to HRT is an instance of, like, fucking systemic oppression against trans people. It's also quite likely that these people just shouldn't have access to it because they're young and self-diagnosing because they're confused. So, yeah, that's me being charitable, I have no personal investment in that. I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, I'm right. I don't, if you think differently, that's perfectly fine. But that's the most charitable interpretation.
Good justification for why Keffals, while being overtly sexual, was interacting with and befriending underage fans.
And the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
It's like a Twitch stream. Catboy Ranch.tv.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they make it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Thanks, Ethan. That is interesting.
They really are just straight up lying, huh?
Now, there's a lot of misinformation surrounding Catboy Ranch, including the circulation of several alleged screenshots. And to be clear, these aren't from a server Clara owned, but an acquaintance named Femboy Cooking. Femboy Cooking is
Femboy Cooking. Beautiful names, guys.
Infamous for saying this: "It's not a choice. We are not asking you. We are telling you we will turn your kid gay." On June.
One thing. Okay. You probably shouldn't say things that sound like you want to groom kids. You know what I mean? Most gay people just want to be gay and be left alone. They're not trying to turn people gay.
June 23rd, 2021, a Twitter thread was made exposing Femboy Cooking's Discord server. A user named Sorrel called it an outright den of grooming. The server had roles to identify both adults and minors, and in spite of this, he caught an adult openly flirting with a 13-year-old and calling them a cute little bottom catboy.
So they show up to his house, right? And they
when confronted, admins defended the server's practice of allowing underage users.
Bro, what the fuck?
Why would we bar minors from the server on the off chance that they'll be groomed? How if they've been taking how if they have been talking about having with men, you can show me where, but your sexuality is a part of you. There's nothing wrong with it. You're kind of the one introducing the adult-oriented element. It's kind of weird.
What? I mean, like, what? It sounds like you're putting some of these LGBTQ youth at risk of being groomed and having trauma. Like, you have to do some kind of better regulation. If you're going to allow, adults and minors to be in the same group, which I think could be potentially dangerous, you have to put a lot of energy into making sure that nothing inappropriate goes on. So, like, an extraordinary amount of effort. Like, what the fuck?
Keffals admits that she was in the server and called the screenshots disgusting. I have absolutely nothing to do with that Discord, and I think that is disgusting. I'll warn people about the Discord. Someone replied, "By that you mean you'll leave the Discord." And she said, "Already did. I wasn't aware or active about any of this until now." Bruh, I was joking. I didn't know you were a part of it. That changed after the person who made the call out got suspended. Clara celebrated the thread's deletion, even though she admitted it had evidence of an adult flirting with a minor. Those are her own words. A just wrote an entire thread seething about me from behind a block and tried to get his followers to dogpile my tweet, and then got suspended. People combed through Femboy's Cooking Discord and discovered an adult flirting with a minor and decided that I am somehow guilty of this. Once again, suspended. This is stunning admission that she helped cover up an adult flirting with a 13-year-old for her own convenience.
Is that an admission?
Even though she admitted it had evidence of an adult...
I'm sorry, I'm missing something.
I was joking. I didn't know you were a part of it. That changed after the person who made the call out got suspended.
Am I missing something? She defended it?
Clara celebrated the thread's deletion, even though she admitted it had evidence of an adult flirting with a minor. Those are...
Oh, wait, what? Oh, a thread. I thought you said the Discord. Wait, she celebrated that thread getting deleted?
Her own words. A just wrote an entire thread seething about me from behind a block and tried to get his followers to dogpile my tweet, and then got suspended. People combed through Femboy's Cooking Discord and discovered an adult flirting with a minor and decided that I am somehow guilty of this. Once again, suspended.
Okay, I'm understanding.
This is stunning admission that she helped cover up an adult flirting with a 13-year-old.
Well, is that an admission of that, or is that her saying like, "Oh, I think the Discord is gross," and then somebody tried to blame me for it, and it wasn't me, and then they got their thing taken down, so fuck them. That's what it sounds more like to me. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but it doesn't sound like she's trying to defend this Discord. It sounds like she's just saying like, "Oh, I didn't know about this. This is gross," which might be a lie, but "Oh, I didn't know about this. Was gross." And then somebody was trying to say that it was like her fault in some capacity, and then she's like, "No, fuck you," and they had an argument, and then eventually they got taken down in some capacity. So
for her own convenience, and there's also no proof that the person who made that thread is a P word. Early into Drop Kiwi Farms, Clara promoted an artist named ZR Kalo. Kalo is known for running the account Transphobes Posting Their L's. She faced backlash for knowingly associating with actual zoophiles, including a moderator on Transphobic L's.
Ew, zoophile.
She also is known for drawing what would some describe as necrozoophile art. Keffals defended her
Like dead dogs? Like a dead dog?
purely on the basis that she had a thread on Kiwi Farms.
But the thing is, like, I know they lie about literally everyone, so why would I believe their claims? Like, they're calling Zerkalo a necrozoophile, and it's like, they call everyone everything.
I mean, there might be a level of truth to that, but you might want to confirm it before you just start, like, you know, defending everybody, no?
Nothing they say is truthful. I have no reason to believe that.
I mean, you probably shouldn't get yourself locked into this kind of shit, man. What the fuck? Like, did it turn out to be true?
You do furry gore? Look, I personally think that that's kind of weird. However, I don't think you did anything wrong.
Oh, okay.
I can just choose not to look at the part of the internet where people post things like that.
I feel like there are some instances where you can just stay out of the Keffals. You don't have to go and defend everybody that you feel like is being targeted. I personally am not a big fan of furry gore. That sounds fucking weird as shit, and I just wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to interact with you.
As long as no one's getting hurt, I do not care.
Okay. Then she calls out every person with the thread on the site to band together. It's probably a good time to bring up that Kiwi Farms has actually put criminals in jail. Put actual criminals there. Most recently, putting a prolific animal abuser behind bars. I'm not saying every user or thread is virtuous. Even if you hate the site, you gotta admit, some people deserve to have their actions exposed. Keffals' campaign eventually took her to Chris Chan, who she brought on for an interview right after Chris got out of jail for allegedly having relations with their mom.
Yeah, that did happen.
Seriously, she had to keep up the lie that Kiwi Farms was still down. A lie she maintained for years.
She just kept lying that this website got taken down so that she came off as, like, virtuous?
At this point, I need to pose the question. What goddamn moral high ground does Keffals have over Kiwi Farms? It isn't doxing. She paid money to dox her critics, as well as innocent members of their family. It can't be something—
She's trans. She's trans, dude. Are you kidding me? She's trans. You're being transphobic right now.
Cyberstalking. She got ousted from her own community for trying to gather dirt on who she called a prototypical lol cow. It can't be—
Mommy Big Dick. Wow, incredible.
Some belief of criminality. The whole point of getting Cloudflare to drop Kiwi Farms is making them susceptible to illegal DDoS attacks. And when the site was hosted in Ukraine, she posted the address to the servers publicly, and then accused them of supporting Russia in some weird hopes that I would imagine would be retribution. Her entire—
I'm playing a Retribution Paladin right now.
Mo is exploiting other people for her own benefit. Every time she claims people are criticizing her, it's because she's trans. She undermines the actual hate directed towards trans people on the basis of their identity. And what about her cynical use of other people's death, from James Somerton to the victims of Kiwi Farms to bringing up—
Oh, I forgot that she was going on and on about James Somerton. Did that guy even take his life, or is he still alive?
Tony in feud with Ethan Klein.
She starts this motherfucker off with "In memory of Tony Winchester, who was the RS Glory and Gold."
Oh yeah, that was fucking wild. I remember that.
Why bring him up? What the hell?
He, first of all,
it's a terrible thing because it's like, you know, it's just ruining that guy's legacy. Well, think about that. You've passed away, and the only time people talk about you is when they want to say something negative about somebody else. It's not exactly an honor or an homage to your legacy. That's like an insult.
I'm speechless with that one.
Yeah.
How many deaths do we have to watch or weaponize until we all get together and can agree invoking someone's name in this way is just really fucking disgusting?
Yeah, but don't you realize that Keffals is a trans? You ever thought about that one, Mudahar? You ever thought about that one, dude?
And finally, to top it all off, there is no transparency surrounding the GoFundMe.
See, this guy's transphobic. He said there's no transparency. That's fucked up, dude. I believe in transparency.
To keep inventing new details about her swatting, and many of the criticisms thrown in her face over the years are rooted in—
Yeah, she said somebody grabbed her boob, right? You think she liked it? I'm just kidding. It didn't happen. I'm just kidding. It didn't happen. She lied. I'm pretty sure she lied about that. That was a new detail she made up.
Reality. If there's anything to learn about all of this, is that Clara Sorrenti—
Twitter shitting on the video because of the thumbnail. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Twitter doesn't mean anything. Nobody on there matters. Thank you for the $2 from the newbie noob. Ran out of TP on the porcelain throne. Send help. I feel you, brother. Be a man. Use your hand. You know what I'm saying, my man?
Has no morals. She will completely disregard the truth for her own gain and profit. There is no scenario—
I mean, at this point, Mudahar can't change the thumbnail, or else he's giving up a win. It's not transphobic. It's just disrespectful to Keffals. Like, it has nothing to do with being trans. If that is the case, then they're being people are being transphobic to like Ethan Klein, and Tipster and anybody else that they use that like silly thumbnail for, because that's it's not new. It's not brand new. He didn't invent that shit. So
where you can take her at her word because she is shameless in her attempts at manipulation. If you are someone who felt sincerely invested in Kiwi Farms being taken down, then she has failed you. The site is stronger than ever, and they've raised over $150,000 for their own litigation fund. They've already seen results in getting a company to retract their libelous claims. Closing Kiwi Farms proved to be a terrible business decision for Cloudflare, who stated it caused a loss of potential customers and significant adverse feedback. And now everyone knows exactly what she was trying to hide after all this time. Now, this final section of the video, I have to preface with some caveats.
You think that the MSM is going to follow up on this? You know, no.
When I first announced I was going to be working on this video publicly, several former friends and editors reached out to offer their perspective. They expressed feelings disillusioned by her behavior and provided what appears to be pretty damning screenshots, one that I started this video off in the beginning, as you can imagine, regarding what Clara did with her money. The reason why I waited to introduce this is at the very end is because I wanted to show that you can make a strong case with what is already publicly available. I have also been very honest about the extent of my knowledge regarding this evidence. Okay, I have to be very honest here. Keffals has fake DMs in the past, even doing so.
Oh yeah, she did it like on a stream just to prove a point, no?
On stream before posting them as if they're real. Keffals and her camp have demonstrated.
But it was just a joke, guys. And also, did you guys think about this? She's trans. She can do whatever she wants.
Being actual disinformation agents and having to vet screenshots are actually a serious concern. This is why I say I never believe an actual message until I open up the server myself, hit refresh, and see it with my own fucking eyes. I don't just believe any screenshot thrown at me. With all that being said, this is what I was shown. The first is from a screenshot from a private group chat dated November 30th, 2022. Feels really bad watching the GoFundMe deplete.
Okay, this is Keffals talking.
The rest will cover a year's rent and my psych fees if I talk to a psychologist once a week for the next 11 months. Ellen tried to comfort me by reminding me that it was an emergency fund. I kept trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture and helping my friends out buying new streaming gear and clothes.
Damn, that's a lot of stuff for the lawsuit. Holy moly.
If legitimate, this is an admission that the GoFundMe had greatly depleted after just 2 months. It also calls into question if she actually did buy new clothes and equipments for her friends.
Dude, that's fucking insane. $100,000 in 2 months is fucking wild. What the fuck?
That isn't even remotely covered by any of her stated goals. Claire seems to understand this, going on to state, if anyone ever finds out about how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled.
Jesus Christ. If you're gonna do shit like this, you gotta be smart about it. You can't be letting random people know. Trust nobody.
And these messages were deleted, like what, 7 minutes later?
Damn, what a fucking idiot. Holy fuck. This person held on to those for how long?
If you recall, in September of 2022, Clara mentioned hiring both a private investigator and a cybersecurity firm. This conversation dated...
I wonder if Ethan's going to talk about this.
November 12th.
I feel like he might. He may not watch the whole video, but he might.
2023 appears to shed further insight as to why. The source first sent a tweet from YouTuber Bat Empanada, who had criticized Keffals...
Sorry, I missed a little bit.
Investigate minutes later. If you recall, in September of 2022, Clara mentioned hiring both a private investigator and a cybersecurity firm. Yeah. This conversation, dated November 12, 2023, appears to shed further insight as to why. The source first sent a tweet from YouTuber Bat Empanada, who had criticized Keffals in the past.
I've heard that name before. What is that? Why is that familiar?
Clara responded by sharing his full name, date of birth, and home address.
You mean his name isn't really Empanada? What the fuck?
When asked how she obtained this information, Clara gloated she was insane before revealing the name of another YouTuber named Second Thought. Does Kiwi Farms have this info? No, I did it myself.
Ooh, base. She is the Kiwi Farm.
I never published this.
But she got rid of her kiwis. How could she be?
This info. It's just like a game for me. Clara continued. I'll have more soon. I paid for another information request from an Argentinian PI firm. Honestly, my dream is to retire from streaming and be a PI. Ducks.
Why? Why is that your dream? Who the fuck would want to make that their goddamn dream, to be a PI? That's fucking cringe as hell.
People professionally. The lady who wants to drop Kiwi Farms, ladies and gentlemen, used the money raised under false pretenses to indulge in her fantasy of being a professional doxer. Allegedly. Given the nature of these screenshots, we have to be very careful about their legitimacy. However, I did end up reaching out to both of the YouTubers targeted to verify if the information was legitimate.
What if they're lying? And also, have you considered Keffals is trans?
And unfortunately, I did not get a single response back, as sad as it sounds.
Oh, so we're taking with these with a grain of salt. These might not be true, is what we're hearing. Okay, that's fair.
I think at the end of all this, the real harm that Keffals has done is not necessarily just to herself, but for the people that she, quote-unquote, wants to advocate for. Look, throughout covering this video, I've learned that the trans...
Yeah, I don't think that it means very much to her to try to advocate for trans people. I think that it's all shield. She doesn't really care about trans people. The way that she acts is extraordinarily inappropriate. unprofessional, disgusting. It puts like a target on the back of these people. You know, if you're somebody who legitimately was like, oh, I want to be a trans activist, you know, in this meaningful way, then you wouldn't be going on and spending any time, effort, or energy defending Vosh. You know, even if you think he's innocent, because it's not conducive to your message of like trans people. All it does is it serves as a distraction. You know, you could be his friend, do whatever you want, but like you're not like, I don't see this as a legitimate activism. Because if you're a legitimate activist, you understand that you know, people could use you as a weapon in a case of being like, well, they say that they like trans people, but they defend Vosh for looking at fucking like lolicon. It's like, yeah, you wouldn't do that kind of stuff. You would be more intelligent about it. So you're not an activist at all. You're just a trans person who's happy to be a victim and wants to victimize yourself. Thank you so much, Buckovin, for the 1 month medium gut. Keffals, certified Magnum PI with a Magnum dong. Okay. Oh, shit. I wish I had a Magnum dong. Nah, I don't, because my wife couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying? She already can't handle this meat stack. I don't know what I'm saying, dude. Jesus Christ.
People that I've talked to just want.
I have to listen. I have to filter what I'm saying first. Jesus.
To exist, and in most cases, they're just average people, and their identities are just their identities. That's it. They actually have lives outside of what their, again, trans identity usually is. And a lot of those people I talked to have all disliked Keffals, and they've all disliked him because, you know, as far.
Did she say him on? He say him on accident.
Those people I talked to have all disliked Keffals, and they've all disliked him because.
I think he's been calling Keffals a her the whole time. This one's just like a slip of the tongue, you know.
You know, as far as I can really tell you, this person's like the Jesse.
He misgendered me at 1:33:05. Called me a he. What about the other 100 times that Mudahar properly gendered you? No. He's obviously transphobic. Didn't you see the thumbnail that people have done to other people like Tipster and Vosh before? I could. Oh yeah, hold on. Wait, let me see something. I want to see something. You see Willie Mack? I swear to God, Willie Mack uses the same style for Vosh. Yeah, right here. That means that Willie Mack is transphobic against Vosh M. Tipster. Oh my God, I can't. Willie, are you fucking serious right now, dude? You're really transphobic?
Hello, guys and gals.
Against Vosh and Tipster, right? Because that's the same style, right? I'm not fucking stupid. I mean, I am, but this is the same style as this, right? As this. Ethan Klein. He's transphobic to Ethan Klein. Oh my God, dude. We've exposed Willie Mack for being transphobic to all of these people. Holy shit. This is fucking crazy. This is... Are we even sure that that's Keffals? Because it looks like it could be Jalen. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a little inappropriate.
C. Jackson of trans people.
And probably Hassan, too. Did I miss one, too? Maybe.
Okay. They will use this as a shield. They will constantly try to be an activist. And I feel that Keffals' behavior has made her the perfect controlled opposition for making trans people just look terribly bad. So
True.
the end of all this, ladies and gentlemen, Keffals is in fact a liar. They are evil, they are malicious, and they're at great harm to not just themselves, but the community they quote-unquote claim to represent. That said, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
All right, good video. That was crazy. Thank you so much for the $2, Buckovin. Wait until Keffals learns about spitting image. I don't even know what the fuck that means, brother. Yeah, man, listen, that was a good video. I mean, Keffals is obviously... Keffals just shouldn't be on the internet anymore. But somebody kept telling... I'm just going to look at this really quick at the end of this. Somebody kept saying that Tipster's still defending her. I just want to see what's going on here. Oh, look at this, guys. This was beforehand. Normalize telling your friends you love and appreciate them, because you don't always know if someone you genuinely care about is having a rough day. And such a small gesture in those moments can make the world a difference. Wow, incredible. This person said, Muda's entire video is going to be using Kiwi Farms sources to do a guilt by association takedown of Keffals, holding her responsible for everything DIY HRT. Okay, so guilt by association means like if you're friends with somebody and they did a bad thing, then you're instantaneously guilty. So this quite literally could never be guilt by association. So they're not even using the correct terminology. It would be like, oh, Kiwi Farms is an incredible source of information, so I can't believe that you're using this as... he's using it as information. This idiot is going to revive anti-trans discourse and endanger trans people all for the bag. What a fucking snake. Okay, so great. We're just continuously allowing... Anytime you criticize Keffals, all trans people are at stake. Incredible. Tipster reduced that one, or he reposted that. When all the worst people on the internet are cheering for you, you really should start to question how virtuous your actions are. Keffals is a dude, a man. Okay, well, I obviously disagree. I don't know who the fuck that person is. Why not call him a man in this post? I see no difference at all. Now credit Kiwi Farms. Okay, so a bunch of people that Mudahar's called out. Mudahar would explicitly... This goes against... Keffals like, he misgendered me. But you're like, these people are complaining that he didn't misgender her. Okay, just to be clear here, I don't know how to say this without being SJW, but I'm not really a fan of the caricature of a trans woman. Oh my god, but you're okay with the caricature of everybody else? It sounds like criticizing this, using this picture of Keffals is transphobic. Not using the picture, criticizing the use of the picture. Because since you're caricaturizing her in a way that we've seen other people do to H3, Vosh, Tipster, and tons of other people on the internet, but apparently doing it to a trans person, that's transphobic. But doesn't that mean that you're... Like, I don't understand you. So you're not treating this trans person equally to other people? It has to be transphobic when it happens to her, but if it happens to anybody that's not trans, it's somehow okay? I don't understand. Yeah. Well, the last thing is, when you say, well, when all the worst people on the internet are cheering you on, you really should start to question who virtuous your actions are. Have you ever considered that you and Keffals are some of the worst people on the internet? Something to think about.